Just awaiting the advanced Q4 GDP reading coming through, 207,000. Meanwhile, initial jobless claims just coming through as well, lower than expected. 228,000 was the number. These, however, a little bit delayed here so far this morning. Just watching another platform here. They don't have it either. There it is, 2.3%. So advanced Q4 GDP, 2.3% lower than the 3% expected there. Previous was 3.1%. So that's a decent sized miss to the downside for the quarterly GDP. Again, this is an advanced reading, so not the final one, but still matters when it's that significant. 1.8 million, meanwhile, continuing jobless claims, 1.85 million, 1.88 million was the expected number on that. We also got the quarterly PCE number, 2.5% versus 2.3%. Slight uptick was expected on that. I was reading earlier this morning. Jobless claims on the 4-week average, 212 versus 214. Pending home sales coming up this morning at 10 o'clock. But that's interesting as far as the GDP goes. Market not really caring at this point, but downside, decent size miss there, 2.3% versus 3.1%. We'll see how that plays out as we go on here this morning. But yeah, welcome in. So much to talk about this morning. Obviously, big time earnings after the close yesterday. Meta all-time highs. Tesla, I mean, it's trying here. We had a decent rebound after the initial move was down after the close yesterday. Decent rebound. Gaps down this morning, trying to claw its way back. It was the first annual decline in deliveries, which I think was expected after the quarterly numbers that we have been talking about over the past few months. Were misses. So, I mean, there was no way they were going to make it.
But all is well, Brendo, because they made $600 million on Bitcoin. And of course, that's a new rule that they've got to mark to market their Bitcoin assets every quarter. So they're going to give you the value, the appreciation or depreciation of those levels of things that they're holding on their balance sheet. New rule there. Lots to talk about. Meta, fantastic look. And new little tidbit there released by Zuck that they're actually teaming up with Broadcom. Broadcom up substantially on that news, Nvidia a little bit down as Zuck doubles down on the 60 to 65 billion that he wants to spend. We heard, from Satya Nadella, they're not going to be as aggressive. They're going to stick to the schedule, about $80 billion spending, but no more than that. So Nvidia not really, no new news with respect to that. And so many different earnings names to talk about.
I mean, respect to Mark Zuckerberg, a few days after, the hype was all, DeepSeek did it for $6 million, everyone's spending too much money. He comes out and just straight up says, nope, we're spending more. Hey. Here's a graphic just highlighting that number that just came out there. So a little bit of a downtick here, guys, for Q4. Again, this is an advanced reading, so we'll get the final one in a couple months.
Yes, sir.
Good
wow.
Morning, good morning. I mean, the market doesn't
Such a
seem to...
weird...
It's nicely up 0.6%.
I mean, jobless claims being down, I mean, obviously it's a good thing overall for the economy. What's wild to me is, and thank you so much, the aftermarket show was a ton of fun, despite the fact that Zuck kept us waiting for a while. But we stuck around because we knew they were a half an hour late, which is fashionably late, which is fine. We had a lot of fun watching Tesla rebound because Tesla was the round trip, and it was one heck of a bid that came in on Tesla. You can't sugarcoat it, right? Like the revenue miss is pretty significant. So I think that would be fantastic. He said this could be the biggest company. Bigger than the next 5 companies if all comes together, is what was said about Tesla. Obviously, that's going to be in play. And, don't sleep on a company. We talk about Meta, we'll talk about Microsoft, but don't sleep on a company like IBM, right? Like IBM up 10% today. All-time highs for IBM. You got ServiceNow, which...
I mean, you could just check our watch list for IBM if you want.
Yeah, obviously it made that cut.
Wow, Adara. No, IBM, we're just playing around.
It did not.
Like, if we were to play a game like guess where Tesla would be, and they put out the quarter that they put out, like, there's no way. Tesla misses everywhere, and then Neil just talks, like, what we're quoting is the CEO, who thinks greatly of the company. That's great. And I mean, the stock price is not lying. He's not alone. This is a huge cult stock, missing on earnings per share, missing on sales, like declining. Like there's nothing really that great here at all. But it's up, and I'm long, and it's fine, I guess.
Until it isn't.
I don't know. Like I look at the numbers, I'm like, what? Like Okay, so they missed 73 cents, missed 76, way down on sales, right? 25 versus 27 billion. That's not even close. Production dropped 7% year over year. It's like it's not great in my opinion.
I thought they'd be down the 10%. I thought, they were. I thought they'd hold down at the 10%, but they didn't. It went down. It did go down.
They anticipated.
It did go down double digits, though. That's the thing. It was down there. It's just
I think at the end of the day, what it really means is that Tesla continues to be more than just a car company.
Exactly.
I think that's why traders and investors alike, want to keep flocking to this name every day. It's a great day trading name, and it looks like it's going to be a good investment, especially in the AI space. I mean, there has been analysts calling Tesla an AI ETF, basically, like just getting into this name. And we saw the Bitcoin, like Sharif mentioned there, booking the 600 million. I mean, it's a great opportunity to be in a name that gets a lot of excitement. So I think that's what you're there for. You're not there for the valuation. You're not there for, obviously, we just read they miss on top and bottom line, yet it's up 4%. So I would say, this is going to be a long break, most likely here today, 407 upside. Tesla could see 8-9% today. Like you could have a real big move in Tesla if the fire gets underneath it, and that's that. They had a horrible quarter a couple quarters ago, and I think the stock rallied off of it. So, you're just gonna have to wait to see where Tesla goes. Up 4% is nice. Everything disappointed, right? As far as the volatility. You guys were right. Tesla looks like it'll move. Well, Microsoft, I guess, will.
No, Microsoft wins.
It will move them. Well,
nobody picked Microsoft.
No, but they're exactly identical, actually.
Oh, okay,
Microsoft, watch this. Microsoft 4.4. Meta 1.7, so that's not the winner. Obviously, that was my pick. And then right there, Tesla 4.1.
I say there's no winner.
Yeah, there's.
It's the field
tie.
Because ServiceNow, like all the other ones, did the volume. IBM, ServiceNow, Lamb's up 7%, IBM 10, ServiceNow down 10%. ServiceNow got moked.
Why
got smoked.
Oh yeah. But how much though? 8%.
Smoked is too much. They're 10% down.
Now. Oh, yeah.
And then this morning, actually the biggest one was this morning because UPS got destroyed. UPS actually, this is bad, man, because they're cutting the note on UPS. It's not funny. The note on UPS is by 2026, they're cutting by 50% volume to from their largest customer, which Amazon. So that's not good. Like, you're not cutting volumes because Amazon doesn't have the demand. Like that. So UPS, fresh 52-week lows. Like, they're now down at prices that you haven't seen since the pandemic. So it's like pandemic rebound are the levels that you have to go back to on UPS. So it was all of the other names that ended up with the volatility. And you know what? Lamb is good, but you know what? There's another. The other play here is Meta just mentions Broadcom, and they're up 5% to Meta's smaller move. And I like Broadcom today off the 50-period moving average. Nice little trend up here. This is what it is, man. Like, Broadcom just looks a little bit better on the chart for a continuation play than some of the other chip names. So yeah, there's lots of places to look that might not have been where we thought originally, which is absolutely fine. I love when there's market opportunities. NASDAQ is not really doing a heck of a lot off those numbers, but we got individual stocks and plenty of them to play. And then we haven't even talked about Alibaba Day 2.
Right, yeah, exactly. Or day 3 maybe even. Yesterday Alibaba did pull back in, so we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening. Ooh, IBIT. I mean, by the way, right now, crypto 105. I mean, we're not going to hate on that, but it just, okay, yeah, because I was looking at it at 60. Okay, we had a little bit of a dip down there for IBIT. So, Bitcoin is up nearly 50% since the election, which was, 40, So that is about 50%. So here's the election bottom. So this is the day before the election, $39 on IBIT, right? So let's just say 40, because let's say you bought it, you can't pick the very bottom, but $40, $60. So 50% move on Bitcoin since Trump has been elected. So that's an amazing move up, and I think Bitcoin can continue to go, especially now that we're through the Fed and we're waiting to see what happens next. I like crypto here. There's a big buzz in the office today because we have a new caterer. So he's still the banana's still showing up. But there's like...
And they're still not ripe.
There's like maybe like 15 at least egg sandwiches on this side and about 50 on the other side. And there's about like 50 little mini chocolate croissants. Adara's really impressed with the bagel, so we're waiting on the bagel report.
Chocolate croissants?
There's little chocolate. Well, it looks like they're stuffed with. I didn't have any.
I didn't know there
I don't know. Maybe. And they got the fruit salad. Joe, you got a bagel over there. Let's show. Yeah, Joe's
I didn't notice they
over
were
there.
stuffed with chocolate.
Yeah, show that up. There we go. Look at that. A nice little fruit, little medley there. I like the grapes. The grapes is a great. What's your favorite fruit in that bowl there? It's which?
It is grapes.
The grapes. That's it. All right. It's a fruit salad. Can I tell you right there? You go. Right. You lead into it, and then you get the fruit salad time. So there it is, man. Thanks, Joe, for sharing the fruit salad. And well,
my question is in that graphic, why are there limes in the fruit salad?
That's what I was asking. I even think there's an avocado there, but I don't know. Remember we slowed that down.
Everyone's got to do them, but if there's really chocolate in
That's
those,
an everything bagel, I think.
in that croissant, I might have to have it.
It looked like chocolate. I mean,
let's get on to the desk and see what they would like to
you can
talk
come
about.
over. Tattoo practice. Come over.
Tesla, you and I were just discussing a couple of notes on this. The first one being, it seemed to be the June note when he came out and said driverless cars by June. Yeah. That helped the initial bounce back to the upside. So that was one catalyst maybe that turned things around after, like the guys were saying. I mean, data-wise, this was not a good report.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it was a miss in most major categories, EPS, revenue, operating income. They missed on everything there, Brendo. What I wanted to kind of highlight, though, was the Model 2 discussion. So he was pressed on this. He didn't call it the Model 2. Obviously, we don't know what it's called, but he's focusing specifically for the next model on cost reduction. What he wants to emphasize is the platform being designed with a strong emphasis on cost reduction to produce the vehicle at a much lower price than the Model 3 and the Model Y. He also wants to produce it in high volumes to take advantage of economies of scale. We're talking about the Model 2 right now, but sadly, we did not get a specific timeline. He suggested, the groundwork in 2024 that it would be the second half of 2025, Brendo, but didn't give a concrete timeline on that.
Yeah, he did give a concrete response once again to the LiDAR argument, completely dismissing it, saying they're not going to use it. They're going to go cameras and only cameras. So that's kind of putting an end to that argument. I think a lot of people are kind of going back and forth on that when it comes to Tesla. I mean, one analyst quick to point out this morning on the downside saying 80% of their cars cannot use FSD that are on the road today.
Great point. And so he upgrades the hardware, version 1, version 2. I think we're on 4 or 5 right now. So he said basically anything running less than version 3, Brendo, probably won't be able to run the current FSD right now. So either you're going to have to upgrade that or you're going to have to sell the car and get a new hardware model.
I mean, he's been pointing in this direction for better part of a year now with this. It seems to be somewhat of a transition toward the AI, towards robotics, towards the autonomous side of things. So to be expected in one sense from that standpoint. But I mean, this looks great as you guys were just saying here, guys, trying to curl back up to day highs right now.
When we sort of say this, by the way, it's not like a croissant, but it's like a little, I don't know what you call it.
Yeah,
it's
like
a
a
little
mini,
chocolate-filled mini pastry.
Situation.
No, the only beef with this is it's telling Sean it's a little cold. Like it's not warm. I could have heated it up in the microwave or something.
Ooh.
But I didn't think about that. It just came back to the desk. But it is tasty. It just I probably should have.
The Danish.
I should have heated it up. You don't want to eat I don't want to eat a pastry cold in the morning. It's just kind of weird to me.
Don't tell me that.
Is what it is. Look, there's no such thing as good or bad earnings. There's just price action when you're trading. I mean, there's a good discussion in the chat right now about how could Caterpillar have missed? It doesn't make a lot of sense with. You've had hurricanes, you've had fires, you have infrastructure that you want to build, and they missed, and their guide wasn't even that great. So it doesn't always make a ton of sense. And it's one thing to say all of the right things; it's another thing to deliver them. So I'm a little bit perplexed. As I said, I actually anticipated when we were doing this live in the aftermarket, I kind of felt like, okay, you'll get the usual bounce off the low. It'll hang out there back at that 380 level and down around here, like the prior low. It'll probably get back and try to retest the prior lows. And then we'd be coming in this morning talking about shorts underneath 380 or something along those lines. But it doesn't matter. Ultimately, you can see this on a on an open and closed basis, like we've been hugging the 50-period moving average. That's a really good place sort of to start. There's two ways this can obviously. Well, I think if you're looking for the long, there's two ways this can play. I think you probably trap some shorts. Usually, I wouldn't want to be that far against what fundamentally makes sense, but it's strong right now. I think it's setting up like it wants to take out a 408 top. I really wish there was a better chance to get some play off like the 395 or where that 50 period is in the daily, around where we were closing before. But we've now gapped away from it, so you're much closer to a test of the high. And if you lose that high, I think you really got to wait to see what happens at the 95. It could be a heck of a reversal. Like if it fails the break, I think it gets nasty if it fails this breakout. And that's one of the things you have to be cautious with here for Tesla. But ultimately, yeah, it can be surprising. Long term, it doesn't change what I feel about it. I'm in the camp that it is more than just a car company. So, I mean, ultimately, I can be patient with it. The other thing that you have going for Tesla, and we'll see where it gets to today if it makes that kind of a breakout, is you've got a very distinct set of lower highs into, it's not a completely flat bottom here, but it is kind of a little bit of a flat bottom, and you got these distinct highs. So when it gets unclosed above 420, I think you've got a bit of a mean reversion play going on as well. So, I mean, the chart looks really good holding that 50 period for a breakout. Even if it doesn't make sense to me, like I said, I thought they'd be down 10% today after that report, and they're not. They just aren't. So it is what it is.
Exactly. So that's where I think he kind of just proved that point there, that I actually, and I know Neil says it, and I know he means it in a different way, but I actually think there is such a thing as a bad report. It was a bad report.
Well, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, but
speech,
to your, no, exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, to your point, the stock is reacting positively, and I think it was a bad report. Very bad report. But in what was said during the press conference, or during the conference, during some of the analyst expectations, and what we heard from Elon Musk is providing, again, reasons for people to be excited about this company. And it's about looking forward. I mean, obviously, if their report was good, then this stock could be up like 10 or 15, 20%. If they beat. Imagine they beat. They missed everywhere. Bad report. But look at this, up 4%. It's nice, and it is up less than expectation. The expected move on this name, I think, was 7 or 8%, right? So you're not, and we've had Daniel Shea on the show before many times, and it's been like, if you don't get that expected number, it may either be a midday or even to the downside, because those that got all bulled up about this will be losing on their calls. So that's the whole thing, is I could see this get faded out. But again, because of the way I think the stock's going to trade, I think it's going to trade higher. And I like this 407 break. So that was sort of the high there. Forget about what happened yesterday, because I don't chart all the way through. It's more just like that today's high right there of 407. We're still 45 minutes away. We could be at 410 by the time the imbalances come out and this and that. I'm not going to trade this in the pre-market, but I am going to be looking to go long on Tesla. The 200 period has been a favorite of mine. I'm not going to trust VWAP here early. I think it's going to be pretty volatile. Like I said, we're both talking the same thing. Not great, but price is not lying. So there's going to be a push and pull here off the open. It's not like IBM. Oh, great, great report. Boom, up 10%.
That one's easy.
Yeah, Broadcom. There's reasons why it's going. Like for Tesla, I think there could just be a back and forth. Like we're going to take the high out right now, as I say.
It's insane.
So it is what it is. But all right, yeah, let's go. Yeah, I think he is the salesman of the year. Elon Musk has been the salesman of the last 2 decades, basically.
They don't need to advertise.
So yeah, just continues to be a positive story, and I think Tesla wins in the long run, right? So at the end of the day, that's that. I'm looking at Broadcom and Google early, but there's lots of names to look at. Those of you that were asking about UPS, I mean down to 114 here today. Like 15%. We can look at FedEx and some of the other names there, but this is a pretty big move down, and you've already broken through. We've talked about this. Stocks that are at the 200 period, you got to be careful with that. It's been a nice battle back up to 136, 137, but then that report could have gone one way or the other, and unfortunately it went the other for those that were long, and does not break through this high of 137. So it's not the complete end of the world there. There's going to be a dividend, but yeah, breaking through this 122 was not a good sign there for UPS. I think it's a fade if you ever get anywhere back near this 120. So we'll discuss this as it goes, but I saw some people wondering there about UPS.
Yeah, and I do think we might have one of our favorite guests lined up here. Because there's a few small caps running, including this ATHE. So I'm very curious. I was just checking out ARM, but ATHE is popping up here, doing pretty good volume. So I wonder if our guest is going to be interested in it. But let's head on to the desk and see who that might be.
The seasonality effect, kind of interesting here as we get through earnings season. But yeah, let's bring in Luis Barbado from Barcelona, the real trading office over in Spain. Whenever you guys are ready, is Luis ready? He'll join us in a second. But as you guys were saying, there's a ton of things. There he is. Hey, Luis. Welcome to earnings season. First of all, it's been a wild week so far.
Very week for small caps. We have a lot of runners today again, so let's see what we pick up. We need to be very selective in this hot market.
Yeah, I wanted to get your take on the earnings season effect on small caps specifically. There are times where you get a shift in focus and a shift in attention when the big names start to report, as we're into this week and then next week, once again with more tech coming, that the volume kind of dries up, volume shifts back towards some of the mega cap tech stocks, but it doesn't seem to be the case this time around.
Sometimes it happens, you're right, when there are no big news involved or not hot sectors. But nowadays, even if it's earnings seasons, we have a lot of hot sectors, drones, AI, and a lot of things going on with different countries and macroeconomic. So since we have hot sectors and countries and news related and sympathy plays from one company to the other, we have a lot of tickers to trade every day. It's more about picking up the right setups from the day more than not having enough stocks to trade.
Let's you lead the way this time. Tell me what's on your mind here. What's catching your eye first off?
Today we're gonna look for tickers mainly. There are a lot of them more, but we're gonna focus on these four. First of all, we have two Australian companies. It's KZIA and ATHE. Those two tickers are from Australia. Both of them are going up, of course. We can see here ATHE is moving up 100% right now, trading around VWAP, very important. It has, of course, a phase 2 trial results, which is very important, as we all know. It's 8 million float, 8 million shares float, and it has already traded 7 million. So the whole company has been traded. It's moving at 100%. And this ticker in particular, if we check the data, we see 77% probability of closing red, but which is more important, when it got over 100%, it's holding pretty nice, only 10%, 15% down since the open. So let's see if this stock is trading below VWAP and losing some volume. We're gonna go short on this one against the VWAP, and of course, stopping out if it breaks pre-market highs and volume comes in. And the same for KZIA. KZIA. This one is also Australian company with news, of course, related to cancer, breast cancer, so very important news, but it has already lost a lot of volume and trading below VWAP. So we're going to look for short in this one as well, as far as it holds below the VWAP.
When it comes to selection, what takes those right to the top of your list right away?
Many factors. First of all, volume, of course. We need a lot of volume and a lot of what we call noise in the level 2. So we don't like, at least here in my office, we don't like linear movement or parabolic movements. We like when the movement is built with mean reversions. It's going up and down, so all this noise in the movement, it gives you a lot of clue if the buyers are taking the movement or the sellers, So we like this volume, volatility with a lot of noise. And of course, we check the country, we check the float, we check the VWAP, which is the only indicator we look. And with all that, you try to select what setup are you looking for, more short, more long,
Something like a BNZI, another one popping up here this morning. There's AMOD, there's STAI, a few other ones people talking about here as well.
Yeah, but BNCZI was a stock in play yesterday mainly. As you can see here, the chart yesterday was a nice stock popping up, but today I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Let's see if it fights highs of pre-market, which I think is going to be very difficult. We will look for some shorts, but it's not the first day in play. It broke yesterday highs after hours yesterday, so let's see. It might be interesting, but we have some other tickers in the mood today.
Let's take a second here and touch on some of the quantum stocks. I'm just seeing a few of them popping up in front of me here. RGTI, one of those, already 3.7%. Not necessarily the same type of idea as these, news-related big gappers that we see and talk about with you from time to time. When you get a group that kind of moves whenever it seems to want to, how do you approach those?
Yeah, you're right. RGTI probably is the one with more volume and volatility yet of the group. So first of all, we like to choose one of them, the one that fits better our strategy or our kind of movement. And RGTI probably is the one that fits the better in this case. It is true. RGTI is very likely to have one first move very sharp on the way up or down, and then for the rest of the day just scalping in and out. So we wait for this first move. Of course, we have some bias if we like more short or long, but we wait for this first move, and then we look for the noise and the volatility of this stock scalping with few cents, fast trades. This is the kind of strategy we do on RGTI.
Luis, we seem to have lost your visual, but we can hear you fine. So we'll wrap it up at that. Great to hear you, I guess, and see you, of course, as always. Good insight. Best of luck today.
Okay, we're checking a couple of stocks more today. AMOD. Okay, as far as you hear me, that's good. And I'm sharing the screen if you want to look at that. AMOD is 100% up as well. It keeps quite strong, and we have a lot of, well, it's only one gap up. So let's see this stock, if it keeps holding pretty strong VWAP and trading above $3, we're going to look for long on this one. And then STAI, this one, it's only 30% up, but let's see if it clears the $2 again. If it clears, there it goes, $2 break-in. So let's see if it breaks 220, 230 for pre-market highs.
All right, Luis, unfortunately, you're getting a little choppy. So unfortunately, we'll wrap it up at that. But thanks so much as always. We'll catch you again in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much to you, Brendan. Sorry for
no worries.
troubles
No worries.
of.
Thank you so much, Luis. And yeah, that STAI just breaking VWAP is, as Luis was just mentioning, volume doing pretty good here. And obviously, some of these will have different profiles, whether it's just recently come to market, whether it's like habitual offender, it's gapped up before and then pulled back. Profile matters. But what he said about Rigetti, I think, is really important because there's a pattern the last few days on Rigetti, and this is exactly what he's getting at. You usually have had one big move, and then it turns into, it's like the reversion there. Like sometimes it'll try, like this is move up at the open and then down, up. It is spiked off the opens 3 days in a row, only to turn around at about $13.50, sometimes getting a little bit higher. So what's interesting to me is if it can clear out all of that and then maybe catch 14, then you would really start going on a Rigetti. But every single time, it's 13.5 or so, and you see that reversion where they're probably sort of scalping it on the way back in. So yeah, know the profile of your stock. It's an interesting little pattern that we're seeing on Rigetti. If it can break out at the top of that pattern, I think it's got some room to run. But I don't know if I don't know if there's a catalyst to get Rigetti to do that today with so many earnings names to watch, and the eyes are in so many different places. I think for the market, it'll be tough for that to break that pattern on its own.
The market right here really getting going again. I mean, they're not stopping. I mean, to be able to have bought some of that tech wreck there, I guess on Monday with DeepSeek would have been a good spot, for many names, obviously. But there goes the Nasdaq again. I mean, it's trying to grab through this 5 a.m. high of 21,670. So that's bouncing its head off right there. I mean, you take that, then you are going up here to 21,700, and then it's just like, I don't know. It's always like so much doom and gloom, you know, and just boom, like just right back up. Like we're getting very, very close again to all-time highs. Just one more time. Like it's just one time today, and we can get back up here. You're 700, 21,700 right now, right at a great breakout spot to get long. The sticky note is now out, but I should have included the TQs on that too. So we're going to be trading that. Like it looks like we could break. And if we do break out, 21.9 probably, 21.8, 870. I know Sharif's going to talk about some of this, but I just wanted to get to it because the NASDAQ was breaking. Looks like we're trying to get higher right now. And then this 22.1 is right, like that's, you're 500 points away, like handles away. We've seen that move, I don't want to say we're going to put in all-time highs today. I think that would be a little bit crazy on Apple Day and all that kind of stuff. But the day after Fed, sometimes can get us going. I was going to talk about Rigetti a little bit, but Neil just did. So yeah, like the stock, really, really nicely traded here in the morning. And I think Rigetti also, I don't want to take necessarily this high of 1320, but if you kind of ramp up right into here into 1350, forget about all this garbage up here. That's kind of what you want. Like you want to get long there and for it to get back up here to test this because you have that high of 14 bucks that was just made there, right? So that was yesterday. So if you break through 1350, I think you get some out at 70, you get some out at 80, and then you hold, right? And so I think that's giving you a great trade today on Rigetti again. So yeah, I'm really impressed with everything. I have Google on we're going to go through our watch list. Make sure you go grab that right now. Scan that for Real Trading Campus. That program is back on as well. But I guess Google's gone now. Like I was going to try to buy this down here at the 200 period. We'll wait to see if that comes in again. But yeah, so far so good. It looks like we're kind of like blue skies here. Some green shoots today. It looks like Broadcom's doing well.
The market is just relentless.
What if Meta gets back over all-time highs?
Well, isn't it? It is at all-time highs.
Oh, okay. Well, no, yeah, okay.
Well,
yeah. So just right now, I was looking we had this sort of that move up into 7 bills, but yesterday I showed these guys, it got to 710 yesterday in the after hours. So Meta, it's at its all-time high.
On a closing basis, obviously, this is all fresh highs. But it's just this market is relentless, and regardless of what you think about it, you just got to be able to join the trend. And when the trend is up, you buckle up and jump on the train. You just said Amazon. I haven't even looked at Amazon because we're focused on other names. Like Broadcom looks really good today. UPS stands out. I think UPS is going to give us a short opportunity. Mobileye stands out, and we'll get into all of these names. But for the most part, the market, while only up like 0.5% or so, there's just so much that looks strong. The first look is going to look for a long. Let's see what the boys at the desk think about it, because it's feeling pretty jubilant, unless you're a UPS shareholder.
60.67, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES March contract. But to build on Sean's point, we are putting in those higher lows, incrementally higher lows since the 27th, with that flat top waiting at 6,100. We already breached 6,100 in the overmarket high, but barely. 61.01.5 is the overnight high. We looks like we're building for a 6,100 break. So here's the deal: if we sell off, we're using 60.50 as support. If we continue and break 6,100, we're looking at 61.25, guys, as resistance.
An important day to understand what's happening before we get to the open. If you haven't done so yet, jump down to the description of this video. Top link in the description will get you to the sign-up page for the watch list. Absolutely free. No charge whatsoever. You need an email address. That is all, and you can have that. 4.5% right now for Tesla shares here. We're right back to essentially the highs from after the close yesterday. I think it's important to understand this is not a good report. As we've been saying, if you joined us right out of the gate here at 8:30 this morning, we highlighted some of the numbers, not good. But as Elon typically does, was able to seemingly talk this back to the upside. One of the important things, as I mentioned earlier, I think was that June note saying there's going to be driverless cars on the road, I think was his quote, on the road in June.
Yeah, in California and Texas. So we're going to have 2 jurisdictions where we'll be able to collect data. So let's talk about how they did. EPS miss, revenue miss, and revenue was not a slight miss. It was $2 billion, give or take, that they missed on revenue there. Automotive revenue was down 8% as they look to transition to a lower cost vehicle, the Model 2. Operating income declined at 23% year over year to $1.6 billion. So did net income. Net income dropped substantially, 71% year over year. That was impacted, though, by an inflated number from last year. They printed about $5.9 billion in non-tax benefit. That was a one-off look there. Tesla is offering discounts, obviously, we know, on their older inventory as they roll out the new Model Y, looking to get rid of some older models there, especially in China. They did, again, emphasize the lower cost vehicle, the Model 2. No specific date, but they are really looking at focusing on that, Brendo. And who can forget that $600 million in Bitcoin? Good job, Elon.
Just because. I was just counting through some of these analyst moves this morning. I mean, all the usual suspects with opinions on their earnings. I mean, most of them are actually either maintaining their current or even increasing a price target type of idea. So it looks good, guys. What do we do here?
Well, it looks like it's going to break out the top. It is what it is. I still maintain if it fails this 408 break, I think it could be like a nasty fail break just because the underlying of the report wasn't good and it would be a hefty trap if it doesn't go. But you look at the chart, and the last time we were above these prices, and each of those, that's at least $10 sort of ranges in there, if not, work up to like the 20 level. So it's entirely possible. I think some shorts might be a little bit surprised and caught off guard by this. So, you're looking at a 408 break right in here. It's not really, the aftermarket, but you also had 408 over here a few days ago. So it's not as if this is just a yesterday thing in the aftermarket, that breakout price. I think if you fail it, you could easily head down to 395, and I care about that price more than I do the 400 level there on Tesla. So yeah, it's try to keep it simple. Just go with the trend on this one, and don't try to fight it. As I said, I was a little mystified, but ball don't lie, price don't lie.
Yeah, I have the same. We already talked about this. I think that top break is what it is. If you want to go back and rewind 8:30 or whatever, I sort of said that, it was not a great quarter. We all know that, but it's no longer really that car company that everyone's worried about. It's what's coming next. We see sort of some other plays like in Uber that's headed to the downside as we get, reports that, the robo-taxi and everything's on track. So like we're coming in with some heat here with Tesla, and it's sort of other names are catching some downwinds. I might actually it would be an L if I get out of Uber right now, and it's not a big one. Our average price is like $68.50 or something, and it's not a huge position. But again, it is. I do have Uber shares, and I'm a little bit more concerned about Uber and its price action here to the downside than I am about Tesla. Tesla seems to be fine. I'm not sure Uber is. If you look right here, this could be a good break right here, and we're coming into it right now of $64 on Uber to the short side. So I just want to bring that to everybody's attention because, again, if it breaks that, you're underneath the 50-period moving average today, and then you're underneath now VWAP, the 200, obviously, and the 50. So, there's a lot of pressure coming right now on UBER, and for good reason, right? You don't need to have the richest man in the world, basically pointing a gun directly at you. But there's not much here right now. The other day we had tons of Bs, right? And not too many S's, which would be the buy or the sell side. Today it's pretty mixed. The biggest one on here that we'll be concerned with, I guess, although UPS right now is trying to get back up to the upside, there's a sell imbalance on UPS. The NASDAQ, there's Uber right there as well. The NASDAQ imbalances will hit at 925. So we still have a little bit of time before that gets going. But for right now, we used to always talk about Fubo. Let me just take a look at this for a second. Okay, wow, there you go again on that Disney news. It makes it all the way back up to the upside. It was Disney, wasn't it? Was it Disney?
It was,
Disney, So all the way back down. This could be breaking out now again. 430 right here. This is a nice little sort of a cup and handle right here forming. 430 could be a nice little breakout right there on Fubo. That might not even be a cup and handle. I have no idea.
No, it's a rounded bottom.
Looks like something like that.
Whatever it is.
Something like that. A little head and shoulder without the head or the shoulder. Okay, let's go back over to the desk. But Fubo, I think we might have just found one there. I don't mind this breakout right there, 430-ish today.
Microsoft not looking great here. We were just saying, of the tech names this morning, this one definitely the worst. 420 coming into play right now. Actually, we got back above it before we left things last night, but what a move downside. There's not much positive about this. Forecast wasn't great. Sharif and I were just saying, Satya Nadella sounding a lot more cautious regarding AI going forward with the DeepSeek angle compared to Mark Zuckerberg saying,
Absolutely.
spend away.
Yeah. Well, Mark Zuck's going to continue to spend that 60 to 65 billion that he's earmarked. Microsoft earmarked 80, but what they said was, we're really going to slow things down come in 2026. We already priced in that 80. That was already known information, discounted in the price. Let's talk about how they did, though. So the reason we sold off aggressively here looks to be a lower than expected number from their Azure cloud growth, as well as disappointing revenue forecast. So for Q3, they're guiding about 67.7 billion to 68.7. The street was looking for 69.7. So either a $1 or $2 billion miss there. With respect to the current quarter they reported on, they beat on everything: EPS, revenue, net income was also up year over year, but Azure continues to slow down in its growth, 31% year-over-year growth. Compare that to last quarter when we grew 33%. So a bit of a slowdown there as Google keeps taking market share from AWS and Azure.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Google is still growing on the cloud side. Microsoft slowing, if not growing at all. I was just looking here on the daily chart. I mean, there's huge levels coming into play here. Bottom end of the channel, really 5% for Microsoft. Been a long time.
Concerned about, because, and we said it yesterday, like everything has recently made a run to, whether it's broken to all-time highs, it's at least gotten there and looked strong doing it, or pulled back and had significant bounces and shown signs of life. Obviously, I mean, Tesla's pulled back a while ago, and there's nothing good to like about on Microsoft today. Like, I look underneath the 200 period moving average. I know the market looks really good today, but underneath the 200 period moving average, you look at 426 in here, and it's kind of like that would be like the Alamo if you're trying to short. I look at UPS, I'm thinking, okay, well, I like UPS to short better than I like Microsoft to short, but maybe that's the wrong approach, and should also be looking to find a way into this. It's now $6 away from that 26 level, which is a key price. So maybe there's like a VWAP short in here as well. It's just not a lot to like when it comes to Microsoft. And I think a lot of times you see this type of rotation, and you shouldn't get too complacent in the long term, because I've seen many stocks where the term gets overblown and be like, oh, it's dead money if you had it from so-and-so or whatever. But oftentimes, the longer it doesn't break this channel down and is able to hold on, especially in the midst of a bad report here or there, then that can be a good sign, because when finally things do turn around, all you've done is coil up. Unless it's at, like Brendan said, if it's not at any of these previous lows, I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole to the long side. But maybe we can get a short back into the 200 period moving average. That would have been my first look, and now all of a sudden you've just crept so far away from it that I don't see us getting there. Whereas VWAP on UPS is a little bit more likely. So Microsoft, I don't know that I end up trading it today, but I suppose if it pops enough, we might look for the fade.
I just want to say, I just went to the back there. Basically, all the food is gone. So, like, after all of that controversy about how much food there was, it's almost all gone.
Oh, hungry people in the algo room over there.
I had some people said that the sandwiches were not up to par with the past caterer. So
really?
I was like, okay, I don't know. We'll see. How was the bagel, by the way?
I wouldn't have guessed that.
It was all right. It was all right.
It looked good.
Okay, approved. All right. I just had to ask Joe and Adara there. Look, I thought Microsoft could get to that 415 area, and that's what I was going to say. Like, this to me is that buy zone right in there into 415. And then if it loses it, I don't think you have to worry too much. But this name's under pressure. I mean, as Neil just mentioned there, it's one of the only names, not one of the only names, but out of the Mag 7, there's a lot of sort of meh about it. Like, you don't really hear too much. The Copilot hasn't been as successful as hopefully they had hoped for. Azure misses, but not really. 31 versus 31.1. It's percentage increase. It's not huge. But I think this 410, like, I think these are buys. But Microsoft's been going sideways. Like, if you just go, like, this goes all the way back to February. So you're back 1 year of dumping your money in Microsoft, and unless you're, it's been a flat trade. So there is some value to be unlocked here somewhere. I just don't know what's going to do it. So I think you just kind of drip into your account with it. Like, and what I mean by that is like $5,000 here, and then if the story really is bad in tech land, then yeah, everything's going to get hit, and this might be one of the ones that gets hit the most. We weren't too far away though, right, from taking out that high. So it's just kind of like a little bit of makeup now they have to put on and figure if they can get dressed up back up here to the highs. But for me on Microsoft, not a great quarter, and the market is actually punishing this one, and I think probably rightfully so. So down another 5% right there. Just hard to get behind it right now, waiting for that next story to drop. And I mean, OpenAI losing all that money and so on and so forth. It's not great, and obviously they do see pressure from Alibaba and Quen and all this stuff stuff with DeepSeek. So we'll have to wait to see about Microsoft. I'm still an owner forever long, but yeah, I don't think I want to buy any dips until maybe 415, 410 on this name.
Best buddy. Meta, all-time highs incoming. I mean, we're there right now, but the market's not open. 2.7% here, 695. This is all analysts this morning with either upgrades, price target increases, or some sort of positive note. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 with positive note. I mean, it's all good.
Well, when you have a quarter like this, Brendo, you're going to get that kind of response. EPS, what a beat on EPS, guys. 802, the street was looking for 677. Revenue, 48.39 billion. That's more than $2 billion better than the street was looking for 47. Net income, up an eye-watering 49% year over year for $20 billion in take-home money. Q1 revenue 2025, forecast below expectations. That was really the only caveat here. He guided 39.5 RAM to 41.8, below that 41.73. He also talked openly about open source AI, and he's actually an advocate of, obviously, because Llama and Llama 2 and Llama, I think the next one, Llama 4 Mini, is completed. Llama, good look right there for them. They're also looking at spending substantially for AI, not going to cut down on their spending, despite the fact that DeepSeek kind of put that whole thing into question. 60 to 65 billion in CapEx. Daily active users, Brendo, continue to move 3.35 billion above what the street was looking there, 3.32. And his response to DeepSeek is positive. He says he sees possible investment cost-saving benefits from AI, OpenAI source. Despite DeepSeek's efficiency, Meta will continue investing heavily in AI, so he's not going to stop. He thinks that the training costs are where you can save money. Inference, he says, you got to spend big so far.
I think so. And I mean, if you think about it from the standpoint of someone like Elon Musk, who's also, participating in this race, no chance he's slowing down on what he's throwing at this AI race to spend. So it makes a lot of sense. I mean, barely a red candle here so far, guys, on a 15-minute chart.
Thank you, Kyle Burdett, for the super chat. And the question Kyle's asking in the super chat here is, where does the 5K here, 5K there come from? I was just like, it's like a standard unit of investing. People say, well, if you invest 1,000 or 10,000 into something, well, if you're not going to get all 10,000 in one spot, then maybe you get it in 20% at a time, or you get half and half in a 5K there. I think with Meta, everything that I think about Microsoft, just sort of just reverse it. Meta, it's going to be an all-time high on a closing basis the second it opens up, barring some kind of a disaster in the next few minutes here, which I don't think is going to happen. So you got VWAP sitting there. You've got a lot of different places to look. You've got VWAP and prior. Okay, fine. VWAP and prior high are usually the two preferences, right? So the prior high is going to be 683, and then VWAP sits in here. It's close to 690, but it's more like a 689. I think this is one. You don't have to the whole grit your teeth like with Tesla and look for the longs. In this particular case, it was good, and it has looked good for a while with regards to Meta. And it doesn't hurt that whatever happens with TikTok is going to end up a net positive for them as well.
All right, so I was just looking, and again, it's kind of like, why is Tesla up almost double what Meta's up? I don't like. This is 802 versus 677. It's not even close. It's 48.4 billion versus 47 billion. Like Meta's just winning right now. And then they come in and they verify the CapEx spend of 60 to 65 billion with hundreds of billions coming is what they're saying. So I feel like that makes sense for Meta to keep on the pedal there. It's nice to see Zuckerberg. They still remember, the other thing was Reality Labs lost less than expected. I think Reality Labs are still in the 5 billion mark for negative, but again, with the numbers that we're talking about, it's not huge when you have sales of 50 billion in a quarter. But at the end of the day, Meta looking a little bit like, I don't know if there's a better chart. Like we've talked about this, holding the 50, like it looks great. It's not even close to the 200 period. It's been breaking out for days and days. Like, sure, it dips down there on DeepSeek, and then everyone's like, wait a second, it's a good thing. And then it just rips right back up. So I don't know what's bad right now for Meta. Like just looking at it, I mean, I think there could be some DOJ concerns. There is still that TikTok tail or headwind. Like, I don't even know if it's a tailwind or a headwind anymore. But we'll wait to see. That was 75 days. I remember when we brought that story to you that Trump gave on that sort of settlement of TikTok. I think we're probably like 60 days left or so. So a couple months, we'll find out more about that. That could be a big tailwind for Meta if something does happen with TikTok and it gets banned, or if Zuckerberg and Elon and all these I guess entrepreneurs or big spenders are allowed to spend on TikTok. Maybe something gets done with everything, and I don't know. I look at Meta and I think it's the right space to be. Yeah, I mean, I like the stock. Like, I think they could even get involved with, I don't want to say they're going to get involved with mobile or anything like that, but there's applications that are going to come from everything that they're building. I'm interested to see what's next. For Instagram. I mean, the user and the install base is absolutely huge. I don't even know what their daily active users. I didn't see that metric, but how much?
Half the world.
3.35 billion.
Okay, maybe not half the world, but you know what I mean.
Maybe more than half the world, I think. I don't think we're in this world anymore. I don't know. It's like
no, we're well
100 million a day. I mean, how many?
We've got to be well over 7 billion now.
We'll have to ask ChatGPT what the current world population is. But at the end of the day, every newborn that's born, especially into, I mean, obviously there's this play gets a lot. Yeah, I was going to say, any kind of a first world, and again, everywhere in the world, people are on Instagram and WhatsApp. We talk about that. I just think there's something for everybody.
WhatsApp is gigantic in emerging markets, in the West Indies, in Africa. It is huge out there. And we're over 8 billion already? Okay, well, obviously that's a big deal.
That was one person said that, so I don't.
Well, I don't.
That's true.
Look, man, I'm not keeping track. The last thing I asked ChatGPT was Travis Scott's real name and where he was born, because we had a conversation. I got Adara on that. She told me she was into Texas rap music. And I'm like, yeah, Travis Scott. And she's like, I didn't think she was from Texas. So I got her on one thing at least. I can't believe his name is Jacques Berman Webster II. That's Travis Scott's real name. I don't know why, but when I asked where he was from, ChatGPT included that. But
Plant.
That's a great goalie. Let's get on to crypto. We only have about 7 minutes to go. We haven't even talked about UPS either. I see IBM as well. Crypto. Lots to cover.
All right, crypto enjoyed what Powell had to say yesterday afternoon. We had a nice rebound. Initial move was downside. If you zoom in here, initial move was downside here for Bitcoin, but ends the day basically at the highs. We're gapping up here this morning again.
Yeah, Brendo. So I was reading an interesting article today by Jeffrey Kendrick of Standard Charter. He is looking for new all-time highs in the coming month. He sees February and March to be very bullish for Bitcoin. He's guessing here, just gauging $112,000 to $130,000 price target. He says the recent market correction was the opportunity to buy when about $1.1 billion in long positions were liquidated. But I want to mention here the potential central bank adoption. We've talked about a crypto reserve being by the Treasury Department of the United States. We haven't talked so much about central banks. Case in point, the Czech National Bank, Brendo, wants to consider about 5% Bitcoin allocations from about 140 billion euros that they're holding there. Also, the Swiss National Bank may also start acquiring Bitcoin. So this is very bullish, obviously, as some of these sovereign banks as well as maybe governments start accumulating this.
It's almost exactly, I mean, for IBIT, it's almost exactly $2 from all-time highs. So not a long way to go here, but is there a trade today, guys?
Yes, I've already written, IBIT is already on the sticky note right here, and I just kind of made it very, very simple. It's not even rocket science. See this right here? IBIT, $60 long break. I'm not even discussing it. I mean, Sharif just went over everything that you need to know there. I think it's a bullish sentiment here for Bitcoin. IBIT is ready to go. We just said it's up 50% in 2 months since 3 months since the election. November, December, January, 3 months since the election. Yeah, I think it's going to go. I think we are going to take out that high. Could be today. That high looks to be in and around 61, 62 bucks, 61.80 to be exact is that high. I just, again, like, the 200 period is going to have to be the guide now because we're under VWAP and we're under the 50 period, and I want to go long. So I'm using this 60 right there as the break. And it's not because, like, I don't think IBIT is going to necessarily follow, like, normally when you're looking at a stock or something like that, I'm trying to find my Bitcoin chart. Here it is. Normally when you're looking at a stock, you play those levels because of options or things like that, right? I mean, it's just when you're looking at what's been happening here with BTC, like, there's the break right there. So I'm just going to equate that break of 105.5 or so, which is about $700 away from now, to $60. I mean, it looks very, very similar. If that breaks there, then yeah, then I think we do get back up to this 108. And if we go over to a daily chart, then when you see 108, then you see green, and then you see 110, and after that, it's like up, up, and away. Look at us hold that 50-period moving average on the daily. I mean, it's been great since 60 grand. I mean, you really haven't. Sure, you're going to get drawdowns, but if you're in Bitcoin and you don't understand that it can, move 10,000 or 9%, like IBM's moved 9% today. Like, I'm tired of, like, oh my God, Bitcoin's so volatile. Is this really that volatile? Really? Like, sure, it might not be everyone's cup of tea. I understand that. But there's enough liquidity to get out if you're wrong. And if you get nervous about it, I think it continues to work. And again, with stop orders and all of that kind of stuff, like, I've been in and out of Dogecoin, in and out of ADA, Cardano, using stop orders on exchange, and they've been fine. I don't necessarily want to hold all your crypto on exchange to day trade it or anything like that. We talked about cold storage. I think that's important as well. But if you're day trading it right now, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And I'm going to go long 60 on what I think are some positive vibes and momentum in the crypto space. So yeah, long IBIT, and it could be the biggest trade of the day. I'm willing to hold on that to see if it does come through. So that's what I'm going to do. The out is going to be the 200 period moving average. Because, Neil, we just said that it's not that volatile, but it will move.
It'll move.
And it's a headline away, right? It's Trump saying something that people weren't expecting him to say. It might not even be bearish, but it's just like, oh, I'm going to look at this in 2 months. Oh, we thought it was 1 month, and then next thing you know, this thing gets hit down. So you got to be diligent in your stops.
Yeah, if it does head to the downside with the market with a slight pullback just now, we're getting imbalances coming out here. 59 was Tuesday's high, and then 59 was the afternoon high, and then 59 is where it dipped into the close. So that's where I'm kind of looking. It's under VWAP, so I'm thinking it's more of a dip and a rip situation. But there's a few things to talk about here. Let's get to IBM, and we should still quickly mention maybe UPS as well.
We're just looking at this Twin Peaks. TWNP is supposed to be the ticker for this. Yeah, TWNP, Twin Peaks Sports Bar. I mean, according to this chart, this thing opened 2 days ago, but it was supposed to be today. So just a heads up. Twin Peaks, TWNP, recent IPO here.
It broke 4.8, it broke 4.09, it broke 4.10 very quickly here because imbalances are out. And we'll get to UPS and IBM in a quick little second. But really, it's just Uber for $450,000 to the sell side. That's the one that's going to stand out here a little bit. So none of the big cap tech names on that imbalance board. IBM is starting to pull back. It was up 10%. I like it long term. It was actually my pick when we did our little thing on that half day. I think as long as it can hold at 240, maybe let the volume come into it, I'd be favoring the long side for a continuation. But it's UPS on that miss. Well, it's not really a miss. It's more the guidance they don't like here. So I'm looking fades into. I don't know if we get back into prior lows. That's the problem. Like, it's gapped so far down, you're not getting into. If you get into 120, 121, fair enough. It's looking like it wants to try that now, but it's going to be short sell restricted. SSR, meaning you can only if you want to hit the bid, there needs to be an uptick. So the uptick rule is going to be in effect for UPS. You've got 120 in there. You've got this lower high at the 118. You've got it trying to challenge even 117 now. But I'm looking for the fade. Maybe it does get to 120, actually. I keep saying earlier, I don't think we get to 120 there, but it looks like we have a decent chance to get there in about 30 seconds to go, less than 30 seconds to go until we get the open to get a Dara on the bell. And wow, Tesla 411. 411? Well, Tesla's at 411 right now. So Tesla does not seem to care. They're just absolutely on fire. Let's get it, Adara, in 5, 4, 3,
Get it,
2,
Adara,
and 1. What the heck, Tesla?
Adara, get it immediately. Right now, UPS, right now, we are short at 117 as it was written on the sticky note. I want to thank all 10,000 of you for watching right now. This is the sticky note. It is out right now. It is UPS. We are short. We're waiting to get a little bit more. We're out at 120. If it does break that, let's go. We're bidding some 116s as well. There goes Tesla, Neil, up 5%.
Unbelievable.
Get your Teslas going. Right there, 412 in sight now for TSL to the A. What's Bitcoin doing? 104.7, not much right there. But nice little pullback in for Tesla right now off that 412. We're looking at NVIDIA, Google, Broadcom. Let me check out Broadcom. I'm only in UPS. Nothing over there yet for Neil.
It's dropping. Broadcom's coming in.
Okay, good. So, I'm on Broadcom right now. I was looking for, I'm not bidding Broadcom until 214, but that 200 period moving average is what I'm looking at. We could watch out for 216 bottom break right now on Broadcom.
Tesla.
UPS, about $1 against, but the spread is 50 cents. So we're going to wait to see what's going on right now. And then just a quick, and I'll throw it back to Neil. Just want to go over some of the bigger names. 415 we said for Microsoft. That looks like it will play. That's coming up right now. And then the biggest and the baddest of them all, I feel like Meta right now back into VWAP. That could also be along. Okay, UPS, the only stock that we have on board right now is 50 cents in the money, but we need lower than that to make some profit on this one. Watch out for Broadcom. I'm going long, breaking 220. There comes UPS. Bang. Dollar. There's your first Dollar Club winner right there on the day. Welcome to the party, everybody. We're ready to have a good time. One more time. Boom, Rob. There it goes. It's $1.50 now in the money. It's another one. So you're here every single day. Sometimes we trade tech names. Sometimes we just say thank you very much to UPS. So let's wait to see what's happening. Broadcom trying to go as well, Neil.
Yeah, oh, you got to be kidding me, Broadcom. That was quick on Broadcom. UPS is looking pretty good. I liked 118. I missed the order at 117.88, but Broadcom dipped into VWAP. It's breaking the highs.
Here comes UPS.
Is what it is. UPS, we'll go back over that. I'm still sitting VWAP on Broadcom, but that was a heck of a miss. There's so many earnings names to go
to.
$2. But yeah, I'm in the same trade.
Nice.
I think it gets down to this low. If it doesn't break the low, there's only one place to go on an SSR name. So anytime an SSR name bounces off the low of the day, I want to make sure that we're taking some profit there. But Tesla is right back to 407, so it did fail that breakout, at least for now. Come on, chart on Broadcom. It's going to get to 413. I'm going to get my trailing stop in because I do not have a trail on Broadcom just yet. Come on, IVGO. I want to get picked up on Broadcom. That was a long idea. I kind of liked as much as Tesla. I shouldn't say the best. I liked it as much as Tesla.
All right, $3. This is the thing that we're doing right now. If you want to check out the sticky note, you can get it. We're out right now, out of a third of this trade. As again, we take in shares, man, and we're putting up those numbers one more time for everybody. So there it goes. It's UPS right here. This could be our day right now on one trade. It's 117 to 118 short. The only thing that I'm mad about is that we didn't get more at 118. We were sitting there at 118 flat, and it missed us. So here we are. We're on the bid again at 113.20 to see about this UPS disaster. Right, give me it. Give me that fill right here. And there it is. Yeah, somebody's got to ask for it, and you get it right there. Neil, it's a $4 banger on some shares. And here we go. Let's go. It is Broadcom time. All right, so now we're into Broadcom. It breaks your sticky note level of 220, and it goes about $1, but then retraces back in. So let's watch out here for Broadcom. AVGO, nice move higher. We got to now watch out for VWAP, which would be 218. That's sort of where we're going to think about getting out. But let's just wait to see what happens, man. I'm not sure it's going to go 100% here, but it is breaking through that 220 right now on Broadcom. So let's give it a little bit of room. It just touched out to 221 on that break. We're long at quarters, so we had to pay up a little bit for it. But so far, so good there. As we continue to watch out for UPS, we watch out for Broadcom as well. Hit the like and the subscribe. I mean, this has been done on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and now Thursday. So let's watch out for Broadcom coming back in right now. We're going to use the 200, not the 200 period, sorry, the low of the day here of 216 as our out. But this is what happens on breakouts. We've been...
I'm out of it. I'm waiting back for the dip buy.
Yeah, good.
But I already, you know what, I already banged the table and not happy for missing the dip buy in the first place. But Broadcom's back at VWAP, so it looks like VWAP doesn't matter this early in the day, but breakout doesn't hold. I gave it to the prior bar high, but got slipped a little bit, like 20 or 30 cents, which is not crazy. You're going to get slipped on Broadcom some. So that's why we're actually out underneath that prior bar when usually we're not. So we're going to look for it to hold the bid at the prior high. That'll be about 218.15. If it can do that, 218.50. If it can do that, I reload or we get back in at those lows. Looks like it's trying to hold the bid. UPS is making a bounce. I'm looking to get back in off of VWAP. So SSR bounce, usually if I'm going long, I would go long UPS into VWAP. In this case, I want to try to regain that short at VWAP. But Broadcom, if we bounce VWAP here, I'm going to try to get back in. The breakout, a bit of a fail. And whoops, Tesla, yikes. Tesla already back to 400.
Yeah, I mean, look at the market.
If it loses that breakout, which if you took the breakout, you made $4 or $5 right away. $3.95. $3.95 is what I would wait for any long plays there in Tesla. Yeah. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. Position board is not working right now.
The only thing that matters.
I'm out of UPS, but I'm looking to get back into VWAP. I went right into the pre-market lows. Doesn't seem to even have the strength to get us there, but that's where we want to pick up that short. NVIDIA bleeding as well, down 1 point. You got the NASDAQ coming down here. This is going to put a few names under some pressure. I'm also tracking IBIT, which is holding 105 for now. So Bitcoin temporarily doing okay in the midst of all of this chaos.
All right. Yeah, so what's not doing that well is Broadcom, obviously, as we just talked about that. We were able to get some, so we bought some 218s there on VWAP and able to get some out at 219, but you can see our average price right now is 219.30. So we're going to have to watch out for Broadcom. Oh, the other bid that I had on, my out is the break of the pre-market low, which is basically coming up right now, 216.50 or so. We're going to give it to 216 and see if it goes. There we go. We're in our last little piece right now. Looks like it will be a $2 hit, unfortunately, here for Broadcom as it looks to get a little through this level. We won't get out of everything on a 216 break, but we'll get out of like 80 to 85% of this trade if it does, you know, break that level, and then we need to get back up. So our average price right now is 218, as you can see. I did want to look. I'm going to put a 218 offer just in case we get back up there, just to take out some. There it is. Okay, so thank you, Ramin, for that. Our position board is now back up. I'd like Google down there as well, and now that we get a little, okay, well, that's nice. I wanted Google down here. I thought maybe the market coming back in here that we'd get Google back down, but we do not. It goes to 197.50. That could be a buy or into the 200 period. But on the sticky note, I liked 195 and change. So let's keep that real. And then the other one, because of Broadcom, let's have a quick look at the other big guy here, 122 for NVIDIA. I wrote down a 124 break. It's a good thing that didn't happen, or maybe it wicked higher. We didn't have the order in yet. But I like that play, break long, 124 right now. Okay, all maybe as well now in Broadcom land. So let's get out a little piece. There it goes. Let's go. We are now in the money on Broadcom. So let's see if that can get back up there, up to the upside. We said we wanted to dip by it into the 200 period. We were a little early on it, obviously, and I'm not sure it's going to work. But Broadcom right now back into the money for us. But again, remember where we were long. It was 218 and change. All right, so it takes our first in, first out. So we take a hit on that first piece that we just got out, waiting to see if Broadcom does have some juice to it. VWAP is 218.20, so we're right there right now. We just need to get above that, and then we'll see what happens. I'm offering 219s. We'll see if we can get something out in and around that area.
I'm thinking head and shoulders here on Broadcom a little bit.
Knees and toes.
What I'm not liking is I don't like the fail break on the market. I don't like what's going on in NVIDIA, Tesla. Every single stock I look at is looking very, very heavy right now. But look, it did give us a bounce. Breakout failed. The original dip buy gets us into VWAP. My original plan was to see us hold that higher low. And to get back over to Tesla for you guys. Tesla's near that 395 zone. So there's your failed breakout on Tesla. And here it comes screaming down into the 395. That was it said in the note, if it doesn't give you if you don't hold the breakout, 395 is going to be our next stop. So 395, we get there, I'll look for a mean reversion on this name. UPS didn't pick me up at VWAP again, so it's not getting to VWAP, it's just consolidating off the bottom, but it's holding the low. So as long as it holds the low, I still want to play off of this one. $712?
Not yet. 703 right now for Meta. We are $1 in the money on Broadcom. We're going to let that settle down. I'm getting some more out now on Broadcom, but we still do have, man, like that, the heart racing a little bit there on that Broadcom trade, but we do still have about 65% of this trade, getting a little nervous about it. Hasn't really worked. I thought with this market bouncing back up like this, okay, let's go Broadcom, honestly. We're waiting at 218.99 to get a piece out before 219. So here we go. If we can get this, it's now $1 in the money. We're 350. We're just 2 for 2 again here. 350 in the money on UPS, still have half of this position. And then Broadcom, we still have a big, I failed again up there, eh? I'm gonna take another piece here at 36. I just offered 36s. We'll take, did I get filled there? Okay, there we go, now we get filled. We're filled there at 36, so nice piece out again on that name, as now we're starting to be net positive, obviously, on Broadcom. So let's see if that one can go high. Okay, Broadcom. Again, we can go a lot more than this. And remember, everyone's gonna trade, they're outs. Bang, and they're outs again, and there it goes one more time. We're $5 in the money on these two positions. So, I mean, we did it yesterday, we did it Monday, Tuesday. It looks like we're doing it again here for you guys today. So I hope you're enjoying, but this is a very, very early market right now. It's only 9:40. Like, Broadcom could be at 235 later on today. It could be at 210. Let's wait to see what winds up happening right now, as my next offer is 219.50. We're out of about now, looks like officially 60%. So now that we can get back to the upside here, out of 40%, holding 60%. If this can break through 219, then there we go. So that's going to be a big one, but it seems to be a problem right now. I don't know what else. UPS still fine. We got another piece out right there at 113.40.
Yeah, it's still holding the low on that UPS. Tesla's still underneath $400. It's close. It just tagged 97. You're still bleeding pretty heavily here on Tesla. That 395 is probably going to come really, really quickly on us. NVIDIA, look, NVIDIA's bleeding bad. But notice it's down 2% headed towards yesterday's lows. No. AMD did a break of the 120 level and is now holding 119. So the break that it's hilarious because AMD has been going in the other direction since yesterday. But this 119 is starting to look very, very good if it can hold up. I'm out of Broadcom and waiting for a little more confirmation on this. I don't like, generally speaking, if you do a failed break of the highs on a gap up, I do not want to be, I don't want to get trapped up at that top. But either way, if we can hold VWAP in here, this is where I would like to get back in. Otherwise, I want the longs only right off of the bottom where I can have a tight stop. So next one's going to be Tesla 395. UPS I still like off of VWAP if we're able to get it. And AMD, if it's going to follow along with NVIDIA, we're going to find out about that really, really soon here. But it's held that 119 nicely. We'll see if we can get that back into us. I am now back into UPS, different price. Now we're trading it off of VWAP as opposed to earlier at that 118.
All right, I just punched some more out there on UPS. I know Neil just kind of went short. I'm sort of taking the other way. I'm trying to get out of my shorts already. We're $3 in the money on this name, and it seems to be wanting to bounce back up. I hope it doesn't for both of our sake. But for right now, we just exited some more on UPS. Look, man, it's been, you saw Neil trade Broadcom one way. You're seeing me trade it another way. We're seeing the opposite positions. Well, not opposite positions, but ideas there in UPS. So, hey, man, this is for everybody. Just get in there and do what you think is right. All right, TQQ's Alibaba on my mind as well, but right now we got to throw over to Adara. Okay.
Time to take a look here at Alpha Modus. That is AMOD. This company was, just exiting a halt there. This is a small cap, about 7.5 million share float. They basically had a business combination or a special acquisition or SPAC that happened here on December 13th. Now the company's CEO is apparently defending them against market speculation here about their post-SPAC merger. Sounds basically just like a headline here. But regardless, AMOD, after making this announcement, pushing to the upside, just seems like a case of extra retail attention on the ticker, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's going to do it. We do like that extra retail attention. That's what you want to
what
be
you're
able to see. That's why Tesla's going absolutely ham, I think. It wasn't, like, I don't think it was the analysts and that crowd that was trying to buy it all back up. It was the retail that liked that. Not that they like the report, they just like buying the stock.
Oh, come on.
Is what it is. So come on, let's get some fills down here. I
Broadcom.
want to get down to this low. 113 is a hard bottom here on UPS. Trying to add some in front of VWAP if we're able to get it. And still a bit of a rocket ship on AMD. All right, there we go.
Very good.
There's our confirmation above VWAP. Now I can move target and start going long above VWAP here on Broadcom. We'll try to pick this one up. I think as long as it's putting in higher lows, then I'm going to like this bad boy, and this and AMD. But AMD's not at VWAP just yet. So give it a heartbeat. I want that closing on Broadcom and AMD above VWAP, and Tesla's now at 396. So we're $1 away on Tesla. All it has to do is a mean revert, slap a trend line, break the trend line, and it has to hold this 395, obviously. Tesla, the failed break, it did happen. So that's the thing about a breakout trade. If it doesn't work right away, then you want to be very, very careful holding it all the way back through to those pre-market lows. But here we are, 395.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it. Just heard Sharif just sat down. He was commenting on the Broadcom trade and saying, similarly to what I think too as well, that we could get into this 220 area. There it is. Yes, sir. Neil, this is a monster trade. There it is, Neil. It is again. It is 4 straight days that we have hit our daily goal, and it's right there right now as we just get taken out at that 219.50. We're there right now. If we flatten out, doesn't mean that we're going to stay there, but that is your daily goal hit immediately again. That's 4 days in a row, and if we don't hit it, we'll tell you. And I try to discuss like losing trades all the time on the show, and every time I'm going to get into a position, I'm going to discuss to you, why I'm in, where the outs are, so on and so forth. So this is a nice play. Remember, our average position was 218 and change. So it's 218.12s, I think it was. So it's only a $2 winner, which is fine. We're looking for more. So my next offer right now, actually I'm going to cancel. I have too many shares there because we've taken too many out. I'm going to put some shares right now, 219.80, just ahead of 220. It doesn't really matter at this point whether or not I'm taking 5 cents or not. So let's wait to see what happens right now with Broadcom as up and away goes Broadcom. We are now $4 in the money on UPS, okay? And we're waiting for that 113. That would be gorgeous to get that fill. $4 in the money on UPS and $3 now in the money on AVGO. So far so good here today. We've only traded the same names, but now you're in Tesla. So
Tesla's the new one, but it's at 395. Like obviously, we should have had that breakout originally on Tesla. There's no question about it, but we're not going to have it. So Tesla gets to 395. It's trying to hold the trend, but if we can't hold this low, then you got to break out. If you make a fresh low on Tesla, I'm out of the trade, no questions asked. UPS bounced again off 113,
wow.
So we reloaded UPS at VWAP, but it's not breaking the 113 level, so you're getting some strength coming into UPS, which is a little bit more than I was expecting. So maybe it is just a $1 scalp on the reload on UPS, and I should just respect it for what it is. And ultimately, it wasn't a bad report for UPS. Numbers-wise, it was just concerns about them dropping some revenue in the future from one of their larger clients. So there's your bounce on Tesla. But remember, it's still a failed breakout. For me, that means get to VWAP, get to $400, and we'll be pretty pleased with that. AMD still looking pretty good, but Tesla got to our target. And UPS, when a stock this far down doesn't break a fresh low this long, I start thinking usually I'd be trying the long off of that level, so maybe I should be getting out of this reload short. So I'll have to make that decision. I'm not there yet, but I think that maybe we should be getting out of it. But Tesla working well so far. We'll see if we can get to VWAP. We've scalped to 98. We're looking for 400, and then I would trail it and hold until VWAP.
Yeah, I really like that trade there. Tesla long was, I couldn't believe it.
I don't even want to look at Meta right now.
Oh, wow, 395. Yeah, I missed that.
No,
one.
Meta.
Tesla. Oh, yeah, Meta. Yeah, I'm not. Okay, there goes IBIT, so new trade alert. All right, so we're into IBIT as it breaks higher. By the way, Broadcom did break 220, but it did come back off there a little bit. I'm going to get some more out at 219.80 there for Broadcom. So here's IBIT. Yeah, the market is like absolutely on one again today as we continue to go higher and higher and higher. Yeah, let's just see. new position. It was breaking through 60. I like it. I told you when we took this trade that we were gonna try to play back to some of these levels. So the next level here, I guess, will be 85s for VWAP if we really want to dip buy some more. We're into the position now, so I'm gonna stay away from dip buying at this time. But right now, there it is, nice move. Early position here on IBIT. Where are we looking to get this out? I mean, I said I wasn't really looking to get anything out. We could do this right here at $60.16 or so. Let's just go there because that was the high. I'm always a little bit, we'll get out 5%. I'm always a little bit skeptical when like you get these dark pool into those, and I don't know, I like to get something out there anyways, just to see. So we'll see if that goes. Okay, here it goes right now. Already 10 cents in the money right there. Broadcom is just, there it goes. Neil, man, wow, we're nailing these trades today, man. Tesla's a big one. UPS is a big one. They were all here. Remember when you guys went to me, Sharif just, to take a word from him, he waxed poetic on crypto, and I just said, hey, looky, what we have right here. It was a $60, Joe, you have that too, I guess, right? Good, Joe, this is it. Hey, man, I'm so happy to have Joe back on the show. It's like real traders. No, but I mean as like the permanent host. Real traders is what we're looking for right there. We got one right there as well. Look at IBIT right there, $60 long. So, I mean, again, what we're doing today, Broadcom, check, PL1 right there, right, for me. And then you have here UPS, ding, $5, IBIT right now. So we're gonna go 3 for 3 right here off of our notes. And Neil, we are now at 150% of our daily goal right now because I don't know if you've had a look at Broadcom lately, but this name is now $4 plus in the money. And Sharif, you did it, my guy. You go 221 to me and I go, that would be nice. So there's 221 and change on Broadcom. Stay in your lane, everybody, and stay with the names that you believe in and stay with your trading style. It's been quite the week this week, to say the least. Thank you to everybody that's been here. This might be my best week, possibly in Trader TV Live history. I would say so far, knock on wood and jinx on that as well.
Whew. Well, I'll tell you, by skin of our teeth, we just took our profits. And look, you got to be able to take the profits where they lie. Tesla is bleeding now, everybody. Ooh. It's not looking very good for Tesla. It just made another fresh low. You couldn't break past 399. So our best out's going to end up being that 98 level as it continues to try to hold the bottom. But I don't want to fight this stock. UPS as well. We reloaded it. I didn't want to. Look, I want to just play trend on UPS. So as far as I'm concerned, I want to short it at every single resistance level. So I reloaded it at VWAP to play it back into the low of the day. It's going to be hard to see with this scaling, but it did break the low barely and then get right back above. It broke the low, slapped a trailing stop on it. The second it got back up into the green, above that bottom, I got back out of the trade, took our profit. It's about $1 move from VWAP, just from where we got into that low, and we'll go back to VWAP if we're able to get it. So this one's going, Tesla's going absolutely nuts, but NVIDIA now almost a full V-shaped recovery back into those highs, but it's not NVIDIA that I'm interested in, it's AMD. AMD's doing the VWAP hold, AMD held 119. As long as it's above 119, I'm looking longs on AMD, but I don't want to do it this far away from a VWAP. We'll see if we can catch VWAP. If it breaks VWAP, I go 119. That's the key level. Adara.
Beware here of AAL, American Airlines. In case you missed it, this stock, recovering pretty nicely, but it was on watch here. There was a crash involving an American Airlines flight colliding with a helicopter in Potomac, New Jersey. Anyways, we do have Donald Trump reportedly said to speak to media about this plane crash at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So be aware here of AAL when it comes to 11. I will see if I can watch this. It's probably available online. I will give you guys all the details.
About Hall of Families. And we don't know anything. I'm not going to, I wouldn't want to trade on that AAL or anything like that. I think you just don't necessarily know anything. So just be careful with that, especially as they'll be very headline driven as well. So keep that in mind.
Where's the money storm, Neil? Neil, have you seen IBIT?
I'm focused on my stocks, bro. I haven't even looked at IBIT.
I realize that.
I haven't even looked at IBIT.
Okay, yeah. Well, if you haven't, That's all right. Props up to everybody that has right now. It's Sticky Note Nation time right now as IBIT continues to go up. Well, I'll tell you, Neil, right now, it is going to be a big stock for us today. It is IBIT, and it continues to run higher and higher. So here it goes, man. IBIT, nice move to the upside as Bitcoin keeps going. We actually already brought out the Bitcoin chart for everybody earlier, and you could see right here, it was that break. There, we don't need that ad. There's the break. Oh, this is a daily chart. Hold on a second. Let me go into the 15-minute chart just to show you guys what we're talking about. There it is right there. We highlighted this 105.5 break to everybody in on earlier on, and there it goes, man. So we unite everybody out there, man. Everybody trading crypto, all of you, you heads out there. We're trading NVIDIA today. Like, look what we're trading today. Sorry, Broadcom, IBIT, so Broadcom chip space, IBIT crypto space, and then we've got a beautiful earnings play right now as well with UPS. We were actually able to get out there at 113.
It's coming back to VWAP.
Yeah, it's getting close to that.
By the way, Tesla,
only
this
have
is
20% left.
No, but this is why you got to focus on the things you're trying to trade.
For sure.
Like Tesla was just now. Tesla was off the low, exactly where we got that bounce on Tesla that we played to the long side. So I want to see if we can play it again. But that's a very specific entry. When that loses, if you get in and you're not ready and that loses, that's instantly $6 out of the money. So this is why you've got to be focused on a stock moving like this. You've got to be laser focused on it, especially if you're trying to pick that little bounce play. So you pick your spots. I don't like it down here. I would usually, like sometimes I would take a revert here, but I don't like this breakdown. I think you could still go lower on Tesla. Remember, ultimately it wasn't the numbers weren't good. So it was a little bit of a surprise that it wasn't down further than it is. So UPS still going to play it back into VWAP. We've played it twice. I think as long as it holds VWAP, I'm just going to keep shorting in VWAP every single chance that we do get. AMD was trying to hold. I see NVIDIA still holding VWAP. AMD just bounced underneath and is trying to close above. So a bit of a rejection of 120. Now we've got a trend starting to merge here. You got bottom, 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 and that lines up nicely with VWAP. We close it above 119.5 here, and then I go for the long on advanced micro devices. That's pretty much it. We've traded only the 3 names for sure, and want to make sure that we stick to the plan of action.
Yeah, same thing. We're sticking to the plan of action as well. I mean, hopefully IBIT continues to go. All right, $60 right now and 52 cents. I mean, we said that, we wanted to try to make this play something special today, so we're still into 70% of this trade. So hopefully it comes back in again right there for IBIT. So we'll take out another piece here at 50. We're going to wait for a little bit higher. I don't really have any offers other than the day's high right now just to get another piece out. Well, I'm taking out like 2% or so every time here, right? And so we're just going to have to wait to see if it does get more exciting or not. That is that. We want to check out with Uber as well. I mean, we talked about how Tesla really sort of, came in on Uber's party, I guess, a little bit there with some of that robo-taxi talk. But you could see it's a straight fire to the upside. I might get out of Uber. I think maybe we'll lower some here. I'll go over here to see this. Might lower some of the shares in the position because, I don't know, I'm not really, I can get back long if we break 70. So that would be something that I would be thinking about for sure there on Uber, maybe get back into 65.50 or so, possibly. All right, just for everybody looking here at Broadcom, here it comes back in.
Losing the bid.
So yeah, losing the bid here. We only have 15% left. When they went to 221, we literally called that price out there. We talking about the professor over there as it goes boom, 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 boom. And there it goes again. So nice downside push coming through for Broadcom right now. I'm just going to sit on my hands and see if this flush can give us even a better opportunity. Maybe we can get little long right now. We just wicked down into 218. Look, I don't want to give back what we've already made. So if we're going to do something, we're going to have to wait. Again, my stop on all of this was a 216 break. So now the 200 period is rated around there. I think it's comfortable enough to buy something else at 217 to reload into that trade. But that's what we're going to do. We'll wait for that, and I'm not going to put on a full 100% position if it comes back in like we would have had there. So we just had it there after a combination of this. So it's like we had to let it drip down into some of our levels. And sometimes we get a little excited. We've learned our lesson about breakout trades. And that is that we're not going to push tons of shares there, because even as it happened, you remember how calm we were? Like, I was like, okay, this is going to fall into VWAP, and it did. So we didn't panic and get out or anything like that. Fell into VWAP, gave us that little bump, so we thought we could have had it there, and then it just made one more leg lower. And it looks like if this NASDAQ wants to pull back into VWAP, then we are going to get a drift down here in AVGO, and this could be a great buying opportunity. So 217 is where, 217, I almost said 317, is where I'm going to sit. IBIT is pulling back up. We still have 70% of this trade, another 5% coming out right now at 27.
Yeah, this is why you got to be real patient on this bid. The market's holding up relatively well, I would say, considering what I'm seeing across the board here. Like AMD, you gotta close it above.
Oops.
Looking for a very specific entry on this, like close and hold above. Doesn't do it, don't go long. Don't have to fight it.
Yeah.
UPS not a VWAP yet. Nvidia just lost a bid. Tesla just made a fresh low. The only thing holding up really well, we've got Meta holding above 700, holding a bull flag. So I feel like this might be the place to go, as Meta looking super, super strong here. And right here comes UPS. So just scanning the same names. We'll look for the reload right off VWAP, 114.5. Been able to scalp this a couple of times. We'll go for the third time in here once we get up to this 114 here on UPS. And for everyone looking at Tesla, Tesla just went red, now down at 388. So it is absolutely bleeding. This is why you had to try to stay focused on it. There's 2 green candles in there. You could only have been long on one of those 2. So good luck if you're trying to go long the stock. I'm backing off. Let's go to Adara for happening now and some economic data.
Lower than expected pending home sales number coming here through for December, negative 5.5% versus the previous print of positive 1.6%. That number that we got here is also below the forecast here of negative 0.3%. So lower than expected here, pending home sales month over month. Take a look at the market here. The QQQs are, I mean, we were up on the day now, pushing a little bit lower here for this market. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 to see its reaction here. Looking about the same. NASDAQ, though, is certainly going to be on watch because 3 of the Mag 7 did report last night. That's Microsoft, Tesla, and Meta. We had Meta and Microsoft beating here for their estimates with their guidance a little bit weaker than expected, whereas Tesla missed on EPS and sales. They also had declining auto revenues for the year, but regardless here, Tesla's still up with retail strength, initially at least anyway. Here is Microsoft, which again did beat on estimates. Their guidance was a bit weak. Then we have Tesla here, TSLA, pushing to the downside despite a gap to the upside. And then META, which as mentioned, actually doing quite well here at new all-time highs above 700 for the first time in its history. Other earnings names on watch today include IBM, UPS, ServiceNow. There's really just a slew of them. And after the close, we get Apple and Intel. So make sure you check out the market recap with Sean and myself at 4 p.m. Eastern. Back to you.
We are into Tesla right now, and we are long on Tesla. So we're in 4 positions right now. And here we go, Neil. So there it goes again. Tesla trying to get back up to the upside. Let's see if we can do it. I mean, it's pretty weak. You got to try to fade some of those pops. But if we take down 386, then we are gone. That is the new low of the day here, 386. Change, 386.21. There it is, Adara, 386.21 again. All right, so right now 50 cents plus in the money now on this name. Let's see if we get some out. And oh boy, yes, we did. We traded it again right there. There goes Tesla. So bang, one more time on TSLA as we watch out for that one. Nice move. There it goes, man. Look, 73 cents, Neil, worth of risk to just take $1.20 right there on TSL to the A. All right, Neil's in Broadcom, but for now, I just want to go over, and because I mentioned to Neil about IBIT, he wasn't looking at it, but we also have another guy over here, and we brought him up to your attention before. It's Joe, and right now, Joe, I'm going to get out some more of IBIT right now as we get into 37, but I wanted to ask you, my guy, how's IBIT been going for you today?
Pull up the chart here. Can you hear me now, loud and clear?
We can.
All right, let's go. So if we can pull up the chart here, Ramin, that'd be fantastic. So as you can see, that's why risk management is so key. I built in here, and I had to get in. The risk profile started to increase, and then I just hammered the trade again and just added all the way up through to the top there. So that's the banger on IBIT, bro. And that's it. So risk management is key, really. So if you're building into positions, you still need to raise that risk limit and then get out when you're supposed to. So as you add shares in, that risk profile comes closer and closer to your stop. So there we go, we get out, and then sure enough, we just hammer the trade once again, adds, and then just piece out all the way up there. And that's it.
Great trade, man. Great trade there. Yeah, as we continue to watch out for IBIT. So, yeah, great look there. And by the way, thanks, Joe. I just want to get over to here because we're doing some more. So there it is, Joe. Join you and Sharif on the midday. Any idea what you guys are talking about today?
Yeah, we're going to do the Greeks today, man.
Okay. I like a little bit of Greek salad. Oh, options. Greeks. Okay.
Man.
Okay, I was just wondering with some tzatziki going on there and stuff like that. Okay, 11 o'clock, Joe and Sharif. Thanks, my guy. All right, let's get back over here. Yeah, no, thank you. All right, so there it is, man. UPS, right now, we're still in this name as it comes all the way back down, but I have to talk about a sad state of affairs. It's a flat trade there on Tesla. So just, I mean, if you want to talk honestly, we lost 2% of what we made on UPS on Tesla right there. So, I mean, because we were able to get out, we got some out there for a nice level, 388 and change. Remember earlier, man, I came here and we said there's no such report, there's no such thing as a bad report. And we were like, no, Tesla was a very, very bad report. But the price action gave you hope and glimmer that this move could happen. And it did happen. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I haven't heard any news. Adara's there if there's anything sort of coming out with this. But it is a straight melt down right there for TSLA. And I know we're going to go to Neil in 1 second. I just want to make sure that Meta, because I want to talk about the other earnings name. I'll call up Microsoft in a minute as well. But Meta right there, 702. Just, it has to be talked about because that's going to be a shelf, right? We've held this level the whole time. If we break it, watch out for, again, a test of VWAP and then maybe a break lower. So little nervous hands, I feel like, possibly with Meta, especially with the NASDAQ losing the bid here a little bit.
So if you are a trader or a skilled trader, or just somebody lacking capital that wants to trade, prop firms offer the opportunity to trade with simulated funds, allowing you to showcase your skills, access account sizes ranging from 5 to 500K, and you can start with as little as 20 bucks. So with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you find out which are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match steps in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to platform for finding and comparing only the most esteemed firms with proven track records and consistent long-term payment histories. Access over 4,500 verified reviews, explore payout histories, and discover the best current deals all in one place. Scan the QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today. Find the perfect prop firm for you. Should also be linked in the description as well, so check that out. So very quickly here, I'm not back into UPS, but I did get in VWAP on Broadcom. It lost prior bar low, so jumped out. That's where the stop goes. Hold above, prior bar low. Now you're right back in at that low of the day here on Broadcom. Did not get into AMD as the market, well, I mean, you guys can see what's happening to the market. The market is now back through the lows. Yeah. So this one never really even set up for the long. It's just basically short the entire way through. Did not have a lot of short ideas in here today that weren't labeled UPS. And UPS is just sort of chilling out on the bottom. Tesla, I mean, Tesla's still, it's holding 385, but when you back it out there, there's not much down here on Tesla to even try to look for a bottom that isn't really like 380 bucks. You know, I'm kind of thinking if you're going to revert here, you just got to be patient, wait for the 380. This one looking nasty to the downside on Tesla. The UPS obviously will try to get back into that short, but I'm not going to sit there fighting it over and over again.
Let's go, dude. Like, this is another one right there. You want to talk about adding to something, Neil?
I'm reloaded.
I mean, there's Broadcom. We talked about reloading 217. And there it goes, man. Nice reload there on Broadcom as it gets going to the upside. So right there, now we got another dollar. This is another one. Right, we just got this position right down there on Broadcom. We just took this long at 217.11. So let's do it, man. Joe's dressed nice there today. He's going to the club maybe right now. There it goes, man. Nice play on that one. And then obviously IBIT as that goes. So right now Broadcom for me is not even P&L number one yet. UPS still is. But we're going to wait to see if Broadcom can make the dream happen as well. And then you know what else could be a dream is IBIT. Like we said yesterday, we got that question on the midday, like, where are you putting your 1,500 bucks? It was like, I said, yeah, just put it into Bitcoin. I mean, if there's going to be something that you thought could make it move, let's try out Bitcoin. My move in the last 2 or 3 years has been to load up a little bit on Palantir. And that's been a good trade. But today, we just fall right into the 200 period at that $80 mark. I mean, I think this is more of a trade for this. We just fell into the 50-period moving average. But the thing is it's been holding, but we have dipped below. And every time we've dipped below, we've sort of held this 200 simple. So I think that 79.50 might be something for me to get interested and excited about on Palantir. But as Neil said, you know, you can't look everywhere as long as you're looking in the right spaces. And guess what? There it is again, another out for us as we focus on where the best trades are. I mean, for me, like right now, you just have to stay with what you're doing. We keep showing the sticky note, and I mean, it's just like yesterday it was bang, bang. Like there's Broadcom. We didn't look at Google yet. We didn't even look at NVIDIA, but we have UPS, Broadcom, and iBit. All of these were actually filled the levels that we thought. Right, like Broadcom, we were going to play back to VWAP. It didn't get to 213 on Doomsday, but we did take the 220 break, and we can discuss that. And then UPS, there's the short that actually filled out for us, and then iBit, the 60 break. So the only three trades that we have right now are the three trades that we had mentioned on here. And again, it's a big day. We're above our daily goal, and whenever you hit your daily goal, that's a good day. The only name that we lost. We didn't even lose on this name, but the only other name that we didn't have on our watch list was Tesla, and we just got in and out at these levels. I think like we're picking the right levels. Maybe we'll just buy some Tesla down here and then just wait. This time, okay, let's just get in there. We'll crush the bid. So there we are, man. Now we're in long at 70s. I'm going to give this a little bit less shares here. So if I'm normally playing with 10 risk units, this trade is 1. All right, like I'm just going to try to see if it can go back there to the upside now on Tesla. So here we go, 384.50 is the bottom. So if we're long now at 386.70, we need to give this at least $2. And Neil, what is even going on again? We just put this position on, and it is a $2 winner right there in 1 second. So there it goes, man. Tesla, I think we should probably take it out. Neil, I don't honestly, like, there it goes. $2 again in the money on Tesla. Bang, I guess.
Yeah, great one over there. I'm actually almost in Tesla myself, but I'm following my rule here, guys. I want this mean revert to break out. Baba's going to break 100 in a couple of minutes here as well. So Tesla is trying to hold this trend. I've only been in it once. Always want to try to stay a little bit focused on this. If we close the bar, that's my rule. It's been a falling knife. Want to make sure this is actually reverting the trend. I think there's plenty of room for it to get to VWAP. We mentioned Alibaba. We didn't get to Alibaba. Alibaba's at 99.5. So Alibaba 100 break. I didn't take it yesterday. We only had the longs off the bottom on Alibaba. But today, I'm going to take a $100 break on Alibaba. I'm going to play VWAP on Alibaba as well. UPS just broke the low of the day. And you've got to be kidding me. Meta is going to give us a shot at VWAP. We're going to Adara. It's already 10:10.
Let's
so I guess
go,
it's a new story.
boys.
But Meta's at VWAP and $700 as well. So mentioning Meta was the strongest of the Mag 7 names. Want to play this one off VWAP in a sec.
Oh, boy.
As we talk about Meta and Tesla, I want to mention Microsoft as well, because that's the other Mag 7 earnings name from today, and it just had a pretty massive drop here. I'm going to switch to the 15-minute chart so you guys can see kind of how quickly this occurred. So we were holding up above 420, then we basically go from 422 to 417 in this one candle. So Microsoft, a little bit of recent weakness. To be clear as well, heading into the session, Microsoft was the weakest of these Mag 7 tickers that reported last night, and of the Mag 7 as a whole, they had weaker than expected guidance, much like Meta, though. As mentioned, Meta actually at all-time or near all-time highs, so interesting look there for MSFT. Just wanted to put that out there in case anyone missed it. Also, IBM, I was seeing here getting some volume as well. This one is at also, much like Meta, all-time highs. So IBM on watch, as mentioned, though, UPS a little bit weaker. So just a quick earnings update today, guys.
And just a quick little update. Tesla, we just got out for a $3 winner there. And that was exactly, we told you where our downside was on this trade, $2. So when it goes 3, man, I mean, I'm going to take it more and more out. We still have 70% of this trade, but there's another piece out right there for that. So there it goes to the upside as it just touched 3. I saw $3, but I don't know if it actually, yeah, so it did get up to 390 there and then just got hit right back down. So, okay, here it is. Yeah, so it's coming right back up now. So now it's $3 in the money. I'm going to get out another piece here at 389.55 to just to solidify all of that. And oh boy, Neil, the party, I know you don't have any positions on, and you talked about focusing on them, and I think that's the right thing. But we have 4 positions on right now. Let's review. Broadcom, $1 in the money. iBit, 53 cents in the money. And my guy over there, we are face slapping, we are show stopping right there on iBit as that goes into the money. So that's 2 positions for us. Tesla, another position. That, Neil, $2 in the money. And then UPS, as we just calm down and we watch out for UPS, $4 now in the money. So again, you could see we're both sitting here at the same desks, and it's just a different, you know, I'm in positions, letting these work out as we all of us, even in the chat, Neil, myself, Joe, all of us, sitting here looking for more opportunities. So I think that that's like what we need to do. I said we were going to rest on Tesla. We still have half of it, and it's 250 now. We just got another fill right there, and it's been big, man. No losers today. Big day, and we just continue to sort of march forward, right? I mean, that's all that we can do. More outs on Broadcom there at VWAP and the 50-period moving average.
All right, so we just picked up Meta off of VWAP. So it gave you a bottoming tail candle in front of VWAP and a bit of a trend reversion as well. So there's 700. Obviously 700 just a round number. VWAP sits at 699.55, but it's this candle that I like. The second it got underneath the prior bar low, instantaneously somebody bid it back up, right? So the market bid it back up. Want to see if we can play into the lower high, that's 706.5. The concerning thing, I think, for any long might be what's going on with the NASDAQ here, because you're essentially trying to bounce off the low of the day. If we retake the low of the day, then I want to make sure I'm respecting my outs in front of this lower high at about 707.5 to 706. So far, so good for Meta. I just got to pivot to what makes the most sense. It's holding on to trend very, very well here. The other thing that we're tracking is Alibaba. Baba was a great breakout trade yesterday. It's also holding a trend line. Maybe forget VWAP. This is what I'm looking at for Alibaba here. Should hit save next time. If we can bounce off this 98.5, maintain trend, and then work back into that high. Still want that $100 break as well. So looking for a bounce on trend, play into 100. Meta, we've got now 704. Still some sellers in the 705 range there. So we scalp some out at 703.5. Closing above the trend line, I like that, but we need to break that prior bar high as well, and then we can play on into 708. For now, the market's relatively weak, and I'm looking for a short trade that I like. I'm not really finding anything. I mean, UPS obviously has already gone a couple of times, but it could just be NVIDIA, to be honest with you guys.
Huge.
NVIDIA is now flushing right through the low of the day, potentially. We're 2% down on NVIDIA. 121 break could be it. But for now, we've reloaded on Meta. We break this prior bar low. We're out. We're looking for this hold of the trend and then a break back into the upside. It might actually be NVIDIA, to be honest, to the south side. This one does not look strong at all. It's looking pretty bad for NVIDIA.
All right. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I mean, look, guys. Right now, Neil, we are $10 in the money on these 4 positions. Let's go over to Adara.
Yeah, we're going to talk here about FOXX because I saw some people mentioning it in the chat. And it is getting a little bit of volume, though. It's worth noting volume on the day is not huge. It's actually under 1 million shares traded so far, but I wanted to mention it because of this push to the upside. Fox Development Holdings is the name of the company, around that $10 mark right now. No news that I'm seeing on this ticker either, but about a 1.45 million share float. So small float for FOXX, but be very careful with this name. Like I said, not a ton of volume being traded on the day, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much. And Marty in the chat, thank you for the super chat. You're up $4 on the Microsoft short. Look to keep bleeding. Well, the market's bleeding. Microsoft was the worst of the bunch. Don't like anything. Look, I don't like what they've been doing on the daily chart, regardless of this report. So I think obviously it's looking pretty bad. When you're at the low, if you've already scalped out, like it just broke trend up here at 420. And now you've consolidated off the bottom. Like if you've taken profit into this range or taken profit at VWAP as well, I mean, holding for the low would be the next step, and that's still a couple of dollars away on Microsoft, and you're like $6 away from the prior on the daily. So there's still plenty of room for it to give you even more here on Softy, especially if the market turns red. Not that I can remember the last time Microsoft was 10% to the downside, but on a day like today with this kind of volatility, pretty much anything is possible. So shout out to you, Marty. But yeah, it looks like it could still go further. There's not much holding up in this market right now. NVIDIA breaking the low of the day, NASDAQ at the low of the day. If you've got a short, then I think you can hold on.
All right, so I'll ask you sort of the same thing here as you just analyzed Marty's position there. What do you think about, like, so I'm still short now, $5 in the money on UPS. Where would you target an out here? Would you go back up to like 113.50? I know you're looking to get in. Is there a spot?
I got to cancel my offer.
Okay, yeah, okay, well, I'll let you do your thing, because I was wondering, like, where are you looking to get short? Because that might be a spot. Like,
I'm only looking VWAP.
VWAP, okay. So I'll probably hold on to this as we get into 112 right there. This is a big one. I mean, Tesla right now has really turned.
I don't care. Yeah.
Oh my. I can't.
Nah, that's fine.
Look, it's going to sound like, and I see it in the chat. It's like, look, like, you know, some traders in there, I don't know if you're short or you're against my positions or what, but it's like, all I talk about is these winning trades. I'm not sure what else I'm supposed to talk about. Like, I'm engaging Neil here. We're talking more and more about trades. We're engaging you guys in the chat. Like, I know it does sound like sort of a lack of, like being like not humble here, the opposite of that. It's just, it's like I can't, there's not much I can do. It's like, these are the trades. Like we have Broadcom here, and this is why I say like, this is a big name. This is my P&L #1, and I mean, it traded out perfectly, you know, to where we're doing it. Like I'm just trying to show you because there's not a misconception out there, but there is, and again, like what sparked this show was talking real and the energy that I brought to real trading. I mean, I used to do this to floors, and this is why it was my job, like to floors around the world, teaching trading, trying to talk about the realties and how, you know, the successes and pitfalls of day trading. And I just think that, and again, Neil and I just did this. We just did a video 2 days ago where we talked about community, where we talked about feeding off of each other, where we talked about congratulating each other, where we talked about all of these things. And I think that that's important, and I think that's why a lot of you are here. So if you listen to the midday show, these guys are popping off great trades, great trades, great trades, and that's fine to do that. And I think that that's important to do that. And I want to thank everybody in the chat for doing that. You know, and I think that that's what community is all about. And that's why when we talk about Real Trading Campus, when we talk about being on a prop firm match, all that stuff, like that's what it's part of, is part of being a community. Like I could have 4 positions and $10 in the money. And we could have other traders that are looking at only at IBIT, that are looking for specific setups, that have different strategies altogether. That's what makes day trading unique. That's what makes it very exciting. And that's honestly what makes it one of the hardest jobs in the world. So am I going to sit here and celebrate when we are $5 in the money on $2 worth of risk for Tesla? Yeah. I mean, that's what we're doing. I love this job. I love being here in front of absolutely all of you. So, and I can see in the chat, you guys are loving this kind of talk. And that's why we're here. That's why we congratulate. That's why we put out the trades. That's why we give you all of this. And that's why you're here again. We're setting records. And I want to thank everybody for that. We couldn't do it without Bears versus Bulls. I couldn't have done this without Neil. We could have done this without each other. Fabian, Ramin, Joe. What the midday has added has been huge. The work that Brendan's doing down there as executive producer, that's been blowing out. That's why we're at record numbers. I want to thank everybody for helping us with our socials. I want to thank everybody for helping us with everything, the emails that we get, the nice tweets that we get, all of that stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And one of our best additions is sitting right up there at the desk. So let's throw it, I hope. Is it? To Adara, thank you for that rant. And there we go. I see the chat is loving it, Neil. This is what we're all about here live at Trader TV.
Thank you for that very kind little introduction here, Sean. We're going to take a look at the small cap recap. It's going to be a bit more of an informal small cap recap because a lot of these small caps kind of, to use a Sharif term, gave up the ghost pretty early. We'll start here with the IWM, though, which is actually holding up pretty spectacularly here. We know it did have a lot of volatility, as it usually does during the FOMC meetings because they're pretty rate sensitive. So we did have a nice gap up, though, for that IWM. Double top rejection here, just shy of 230s, but holding up right now above that 229 level. Let's take a look here at AMOD. Alpha Modus. This was a recent SPAC. I believe this name had its separation there, or its business combination on December 13th. So about a month and a half ago, the CEO basically just putting out a press release defending the company after the SPAC. All it did really was just push it to the upside, give it retail attention. So AMOD with a 7.6 million share float to the upside. Then we have Nuwellis, which I really want to talk about because we have about a 1.4 million share float, very small float, 30% short float for Nuwellis. So late yesterday, they tweeted that as of January 1st, the reimbursement for Aqueduct has quadrupled. So apparently it's really good for outpatient care. Higher reimbursements sending NUWE to the upside, though Nuwellis has toned down a little bit since. Talk about FOXX as well. This is a recent mover. I want to be clear again, no news that I'm seeing on this and relatively less volume. When I first pulled this up, we were trading around 600,000 shares on the day. But Fox Development Holdings, no news that I could see. for this ticker at about 1.5 million share float. So a couple tickers to watch out for today. There's also KZIA, which was running earlier today, basically given the all clear to test their treatment for advanced breast cancer patients. So that's what's going on here with some of these small caps. Back to the main show, guys.
Thank you so much, Adara. Wow, UPS just broke another low. NVIDIA just broke the low of the day. All right, I'm back into Meta a couple times here. 702 seems to be holding,
Nice.
but the last time they rinsed it, I keep saying last time it rinsed through 700, it actually, this was a pretty hefty sell order that came on through. You kind of had to be watching the book when it did, but it broke 702, got down to 698, and then instantly back to 701. So someone came in there and was buying the dip pretty precipitously there. So we're going to keep going for the long off VWAP and try to scalp inside the range, look for the breakout to the high of the day here on Meta. But UPS just continues to bleed. It's bad. Someone in the chat, and I should have said this, I should have addressed this when it got said, that Amazon is only 5% or 10% of their business. Well, I mean, half of that in 2 years is still 5 points on their revenue. That's not good. And obviously there's some other things going on with them. So overall, this is a bleed on UPS. And not to argue with any of the viewers. I just think it was obviously really, really a big deal because they did beat they did actually beat here on UPS.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's getting down to this 110 level. I haven't played an SSR bounce. The only place I would look for some kind of an SSR bounce would be at a 110 or a 105, something big like that. Otherwise, I'm not touching, I don't want to be on that bid. I'm just trying to sit on the offer at VWAP if we can get it. So maybe this is the time that we can get to the high of the day on Meta, but believe me, the way the market is going, it's been struggling a little bit here. So hopefully we can get into that 708, 709 this time. We've already scalped it twice for $2-3, but I want a little bit more than that.
Neil, man, great trading today. We're $8 in the money on Tesla. We're $6 in the money on UPS. We are $2.50 in the money on Broadcom. 6, 8, 2, $16 or $17 right now. We just got that fill there on Tesla. It's a quiet storm. Mob Deep. Could you play 5 seconds of Mob Deep? I mean,
You can play 5 seconds.
Man, we on one right now. We just on one. All right, let's we talked about loving our job. We do this all the time, and I just love coming in. Someone said, am I taking a vacation? No. All right, let's go. So there's UPS, as Neil said. I just covered some at 112. I mean, it is where the players dwell, but at the end of the day, let's call up right now a chart here. We're at 2 times right now daily goal. I don't hold enough to ever be wow, 10 times daily goal. That's not, I'm just glad enough to be here and be green and have a great time with all of you, because what we've been doing here is something special. We've been building this show for 5-6 years now. All right, UPS on the weekly chart. I had to go to weekly because it's been so bad. And, that report, although it wasn't even that bad at all, it was just the market didn't like it. The guide, I guess, lots of competition out there. UPS on the weekly just continues to get destroyed. We always like to think about the 200 period on a weekly chart. And then I want to actually, now that I say that, I don't think we're going to be close to anywhere near on NVIDIA. But I wanted to see what the 50 was on NVIDIA. So that is also at 117. So I think that that's something there. And then just so everybody can breathe a little bit here, including myself, we've traded few shares today, and we have less. We're almost getting out of everything. It's 10:30. We're happy. We got to film more stuff here. I got to film a couple videos, actually. Shout out to Andre. Here's the cues on a weekly chart. So you're still, I even feel even if the market drops 3, 4, 5%, and I know Neil did a great buy there on Monday with buying the NASDAQ, I think that that's anything like that. I mean, you even have SPY, or we can go VOO. But there's the
nobody wants VOO.
No, I know, yeah. But there's the SPY as well. I mean, everything's looking identical. The only one that I don't ever look at, that I know that we have a lot of people on the show, especially some of the talking heads, like IWM as a potential there. So this is the only one, not the only one. There's many ETFs that are still down, but as far as a broader range of names in the market. You can get the IWM here, of course, which is the Russell 2000. So you're going to get some smaller cap names in there. 220, 230, sorry. We're right there right now. That could be a good break. I don't know, but anyways, that's just a quick little look at some of the weekly charts there off of e-signal. So you can go grab that e-signal experience for 1 month free. We don't have it up right now, but it still is that 1 month free. All right, I got out some more of, did I get out of some Broadcom up there? Yes, I did. So right there, 220, so that was a good one. That's the only fills that we've been having. All right, in a celebratory mood for crypto, it has come back in again, and we're not holding this past the 200 period. We always said that we would use these levels as our out, and right now it's getting pretty close. So I'm thinking about a reload right now, and then a snap out of this trade if we do break that level. So we're back into VWAP. I think it's probably worth, let's put on small right here. Our price won't change that much. It'll probably go to 610. There it is, so 608. So that's what we have right now, using this as our new out. Let's put it in together. We'll cancel our last offer and get out right now 59. So we're just doing it on the 200 period moving average. You got to zoom in here. I got to get that laser eye surgery again. 59, you know, it's been 10.
Man, this market's
I got
dumping
it in 2010,
again.
by the way.
You can do it, you can do it.
It's got to figure it out.
There's no more restrictions on, like, it used to be like if you're over a certain age, they don't want you to do it. But you know what? This is like Nvidia just broke the low. AMD just broke the low. Like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Meta here, Meta sellers still 705. Like it's holding, but it's not breaking higher. You know what I mean? Like the market just continues to fight, and I think it's losing. The market's losing the fight. So at some point, I'd usually already be out of this thing. And I gotta respect it.
But it's holding up.
No, I don't like it at all.
Okay, I'm thinking the same thing on Broadcom.
Because the way I see it, usually here's my 2 cents. Look at the consolidation, and it's also a failed break. It's a failed of an all-time high, and I usually have a rule about if a stock fails an all-time high right at the open, then it needs to definitively make the trend back up, which means higher lows. Well, it hasn't. All it's done is broken the trend. There actually hasn't been any higher lows. And so be it. Like if you have to take a breakout through 710 or something a little bit stronger, I'm down with that. Because while I was over here looking at Meta, any guesses what Alibaba did? I'll give you one guess. Okay, it's under 100 now, but Alibaba at $100. And every time it dips, they're buying it back up in Alibaba. Well, last I checked, that's what a long should look like. Not like struggling to give you a couple. It's a couple bucks is nice, but Meta's $400. Like this is what you want it to look like, what I'm seeing in Alibaba. So we got to be able to try to join this one if we can. This is definitely the strong one out here. Alibaba was so good yesterday to have not made any trades on it today when we liked the long. I don't know what happened in the aftermarket there. When we liked the long is almost criminal. So let's see if we can try to grab that. Nvidia is now at 119. I think it's going to drag everything down with it. But I should be joining this train in Alibaba. Next available dip, or maybe you just hold 100 and break out the top, go one, that's like 132, break that out, give it a $100 stop, or buy the available dip. But this is a trend I'd rather join. When the market's going red, I'm not trying to fight them. Let's go to Adara. Let's give the crypto update.
Ooh, all right. Oh, my God.
Crypto poised for, or Bitcoin anyway, poised for its second green day in a row. Before we show that, though, I want to show you guys an ETF called Miners, MNRS. This is Grayscale's new Bitcoin Miners ETF. I believe it contains Riot, Mara. I looked at this in the morning. I mentioned it in the watch list as well. I want to be clear, not a ton of day trading volume here, about 15,000 shares. But I just wanted to bring this up. If people are looking specifically for Bitcoin miners, there's a brand new ETF for that. So congratulations to Miners. We have this great looking at this point Bitcoin chart right now. We had this double bottom here. This is the daily chart, 92,000. Then we make this higher low as of yesterday, bouncing beautifully just above that 100,000 point. Now we are hanging out at 105 halves. We know that 107 has been a little bit of a resistance area for BTC lately, so we'll have to see if we get over that level. But Fed Chair Jerome Powell actually not speaking that negatively about crypto yesterday. He was asked about crypto, and he basically said that U.S. banks can and should be able to serve crypto customers as long as they are legal customers, as long as they're using the money legitimately. So he said banks should be very cautious. And banks, up until lately, have not been able to hold crypto on their own because it's been had to put on their balance sheet as a liability. But he said they want to deal with crypto customers who are legal, who are just, trying to hold crypto. Banks should be able to do that. So not necessarily glowing endorsement, but certainly not an exoneration there of Bitcoin. Then we have the Binance here. So Ethereum even stronger than Bitcoin in the day, up above 3,200. Solana up 6%. BNB up 2.3%. Dogecoin up 3.5%. Cardano up 7%. Great day for crypto. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Derek. Yeah, it is a pretty good day so far there for crypto. We actually, I just want to talk before I go on here. We did break that 217.50, so we get out of half of what we have left there on Broadcom and a very, very low piece left. Only 2% now. We only had 7% or so what was left there on this move up. And we talked about it, man. Look at this market. Very, very tough to see that. Ramin, you want to do it now? All right, then let's go. Let's get it. Right now, open to Canadian residents only. We are very, very proud and very, very happy. And I just talked to the director of this program. It is your campus program right now open at Real Campus. We got an influx. Is there a graphic or am I supposed to show it? Okay, she's going to show it in 1 second. There it is, right there. Trade real money, gain real experience. We had an overwhelming application process flood the last time we did this. We want to keep going with it. You have to apply. It is micro-structured in the markets. We are now open to only Canadian residents. Program is designed to teach participants how to become real traders, explore different marketplaces, different venues, learn about routing orders, learn about dark pools, learn about professional execution versus retail execution, learn about bidding and offering, learn about fee structures, all of that stuff that Neil and I focus on, but maybe go quickly on, especially the guys on the midday show. This is what it's all about, teaching everything so we can not only show you the fish, but teach you how to fish. That is Real Trading Campus. Carefully selected stocks with a list for you. Expanded symbol availability this time around. It is a great program. There are phases. It is structured. And if structure is for you and discipline is for you, then Real Trading Campus is as well. So go join that. Canadian residents only for now. Thank you. And, we really appreciate all of the interest in that. All right, we just reloaded iBit. And then we just took some more out here at $60.25. So it is, again, and we do this a couple times, it is another one. And I don't know what we're going to have for lunch here. I don't have it yet. But there is another chicken dinner winner.
They'll probably step up the salad game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, we have a new caterer. I forgot about that. So hopefully they'll come.
I'm holding out hope. I'm holding out hope.
Oh, my God, Neil. Right now, it is a $10 winner right now. Where's Ozan at? There goes Tesla. Neil, we are $20 in the money on 4 positions right now. So here we go, man. Again, Neil's in Alibaba, so a relatively new position. I'm just showing you the power of holding trades. Gets you sometimes to where you want to get, and other times, unfortunately, you have stop outs. So we get stopped out of half of what we have left, but thankfully we still have something as Broadcom making its way back up. And I'm just here to tell you, we are at the high. I am at the highest spot I've been at all day right now. So it's been a good one. Obviously, as we hold this Tesla, I mean, I wish, guys, we're long at 386. We talked about this. Remember when we put this trade on, Neil? We said that we're giving it $2 worth of risk. So right there, it's $10 in the money, and we have about 10% left, less than 10% left of Tesla. So let's go. It wasn't a huge position, obviously wishing it was, and that's part of why we're holding this thing, is because, again, we have a small piece left. We would have liked it to be a little bit bigger, but the fact that we were able to take $3, $4 on a $2 risk and now blow it up to 10, we already have one out here for 9. So let's just see if it continues to work. It's Broadcom that we kind of got slipped up on there. And then look at UPS. I mean, this 117 to 118, it's just funny because I was 9 cents away from getting more shares. Like we waited because we wrote down 117, we got 117 clean. So I was like, oh, maybe we'll get 118. So we tried it. Unfortunately, we missed it by 9 cents, or else this is an infinitely bigger trade, but not infinitely, double bigger. But all right, that's that, man. It's 10:37. Alibaba long. So let's go see what that's all about.
Almost AMD as well, but I'll get to that in a quick little second. AMD so close to finally breaking the trend. So we said, like, Alibaba is just trending to the upside, so why not just take the next available dip or the next available break? Because it's been giving you the whole way here. It just tagged 106, but keep in mind, yesterday's highs chilling out at 101. So this play, like scalp into 101, give it to the prior bar low here. I'll zoom back in, you can see that in a second, and then try to play the dips. The trend is your friend to the end. I know some people were probably long this We're long this off the open. Congrats to you. Kind of overlooked this. We talked about it in the aftermarket or in the afternoon show how it was a triple bottom on Alibaba, and then basically showed you the triple bottom and then broke out from that triple bottom. So that's a good look technically. Probably should have had it, but no, it is what it is. So AMD, I'd mentioned it's about to come in for me. It's on the trend. I have it up on my black chart, but it's about to close this bar above a downward trend, which has been holding all day long. AMD's still green on the session, and the market actually holding on to green as well. So want to look to get into this long, just have to close this bar above. When we go long, give it to the prior bar low. It's not there just yet. It'll be like 30 seconds or so till this closes, and then we've got our entry condition for AMD. The other good thing is NVIDIA's bouncing, so I think that's good for it. And then the other stock I'm still tracking, Meta's doing the same thing. The only difference is the bottom is lower. Instead of 702 support, now it's actually 700 even support on Meta. I think it was the right decision, and even the lower highs. So you're getting lower highs still in Meta, a little bit of lower lows. It's holding on to VWAP, but it looks like 700 right now would be the place to go. I was long in 702 before, and now all of a sudden 700 seems like that bottom. All right, there's the close on AMD that we were just talking about. So we're going to get into AMD for the first time today. AMD was strong yesterday. AMD's trying to revert the trend as we speak. Maybe it can get to VWAP. The market's bouncing as well, so we have that going in our favor. Yeah, it's been a bit of a bleed, and I know there's a lot of shorts that have been out there. Just haven't really been able to find them just yet, but that's okay. And there haven't really been missteps, but it still doesn't mean I shouldn't have a short somewhere. Some kind of a tech short. I've been hunting on the charts. I don't like any of these levels. Maybe NVIDIA, if it can get back to 121, is going to stand out there for me. We're in the mean revert stretch. I'm going 118 quarter, 118, about 55 or so, and then hold it on into 119 for the rest.
All right, there we go, man. AMD on board, BABA on board. Tesla's now $11 and still going. Thing is, we get excited when we put these trades on, or when we're in the trades, but when we put them on, man, we're very, very, we explain exactly what's going on, right? We talk, just like Neil just did, like we talked about like where our out was going to be, why we were testing this. I mean, you want to talk about discipline, although it might look like we're trading, like we're just going sort of, well, hopefully it doesn't look like that. I mean, every trade makes a lot of sense so far here today. Well, they all do anyways, but I hope it's easy to justify, and hopefully you guys can see it. And you know what means a lot to me? And we, about 20 minutes ago, we had that little speech. You know how we're doing things right? When we get a message from, you guys might remember Patty Ice back here. He was just commenting. I want to thank you, Patty. So thank you so much for your nice comments, man. He was just saying that he really appreciated that. And I want to thank to Sharif for sharing that note as well. So Pat, man, good luck to everything there. My fellow Paisan, our families apparently go way back. We didn't even know that. Our families grew up in the same city there in Italy. So, all right, or close enough to it. There goes that's Tesla, by the way. That's $10. UPS is $6. We reloaded this one, and this one is a nice little trade. You know what? No, it's not that. It's more this. It's more a money storm right now because this crypto trade has, there you go, take some 36s. This has gone right back up. So VWAP, right back up to the 50-period moving average. So not only are we, and Neil actually nailed this before, it's like watch the stocks that you want to watch, and I mean, IBIT, we had the 60 break, so we just reloaded it when it came right back and it was supported by VWAP. So up goes that move right now for IBIT. I want to thank everybody for watching. A quick out on Tesla. We have a small move there, small move back to 391. I'm probably going to hold on to this. Right now, we do have news in my ear, and we have to go to sector watch in 1 second. Yeah, D-Wave, QBTS, hearing something with a little bit of a gap up, and I think that was maybe a little Fugazi note there. Let me go over to Rigetti just to see what's going on there. So a nice move up for these names today. Rigetti, 4 points. QBTS, 9%. That's upside right now. So, all right, man, all is good. This one's going to hurt a little bit, Broadcom. Maybe we'll just get out of this right here, and then that will be that as we are underneath on the market. I'm going to work my way out of Broadcom. If we can get this fill, we're going to take it $219.50 right there for $2.40. So if we can get that, great. IBIT just pulled back a little bit, and it's Adara at the screen with the watch of sectors.
This week, really, the theme for Sector Watch has been situations where the market is doing one thing and the sector seems to suggest something different entirely. And that theme continues today. We're basically flat to negative on the board, but then we've got lots of strength here in commercial services. MasterCard reported this morning. Visa's reporting after the bell. Process industry is very strong. Consumer durables to the upside. Utilities, producer manufacturing here generally pretty strong as well. Health technology not looking too bad here either. Utilities, a great look. Vistra, very strong today. And retail trade, with the exception of Amazon, is a pretty good look as well. So what's bringing us down? Well, I would say it's probably these pretty significant moves in two of the largest market cap names in the entire market. That would be Microsoft and NVIDIA, with Apple, number one, basically flat on the day. Microsoft down here on earnings, NVIDIA down as we have market participants continuing to assess, A, the impacts of DeepSeek, and B, the fact that Bloomberg reported that the Donald Trump administration is trying to have even tighter export controls, specifically on NVIDIA with regards to its H200 chip, to make sure that China doesn't strengthen its AI any further. That being said, other Mag 7 and big tech names are really strong here. Google, Meta, Oracle, all sharply to the upside. Broadcom looking really good as well. Meta mentioning it during its earnings call. So interesting look here for the market, but lots more strength than might be implied by what the indexes or indices are doing today, guys.
Thank you very much, Adair. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. Oklo up 14%, I see from Miguel here. And Jason Ryan, I will not say go Chiefs, but no, we love all our viewers. SMR is making some moves. The nuclear names are going. I didn't see the story. There's a story on QBTS. I can't.
Was there?
I heard something. I didn't actually see the story for sure, but obviously that one is trying to go. Meta, this is what I was going to go to this. Freddy 5000. Meta's losing VWAP.
Uh-oh.
So it's starting to look a little dicey for Meta. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It just, I didn't feel short on Meta, but it certainly didn't feel like the long was looking very good. And again, it just came down to it was holding the bid, but where's the higher lows on this thing? Like, I want to see higher lows if you're going to join a trend. Like, there's two ways. If it's going against the trend, break the trend definitively. Like, I like that kind of an entry point. By the way, stop goes to the prior bar low.
Nice.
And then where are you, QBTS? So QBTS is, like, it's, actually, I don't know why I have this line there. I'm going to get rid of this. Sometimes I have a support or resistance from like weeks ago, but I don't think 595 matters. But it's a double top up here, and it's on daily. On the daily, it's a very, very good look. I don't know why I haven't paid attention to this. It has bounced exactly the 50-period moving average, like 4 days in a row here on QBTS, and then going higher. So I kind of like this trend, but I do not want to trade it blind. Not sure what the story is. It could be anything, so I'm not even going to speculate. So Alibaba, that's the other one. It just tagged 180.
Nice.
That's 180 cents. If it breaks out 101.30, that is a fresh high. We still want to pick up the next dip buy. On a 15-minute, this doesn't have a red candle. When Chinese ADRs do this, the first red candle is usually very, very nasty. When it does this kind of a trend up, and this is what I mean, when it does this, the first red on a 15 is very likely a bleed, so I don't think this is a situation where you want to not have a stop. If it breaks trend, I'm jumping out of this, and I clearly didn't hit save this time, so I'm going to do that and then hit save. If we break this trend line, I am out of Alibaba. You saw that 15-minute chart. If it loses a bid, it probably drops $1, no problem. So Alibaba still looking strong. I haven't looked at any other Chinese names. They had their Quen yesterday, or 2 days ago, whatever it was. And it was all the rage, and we're just playing the continuation. Whether it's as good as they say or as cheap as they say, probably not, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to say it's not as cheap as what they say. I don't believe they're not using the H100 for all of this. That's my thing. I mean,
I know how fast it is. Like as people start to build on top. I mean, I don't know if anyone's going to build on top of.
I'm just a skeptic.
Yeah, same. I mean, I was buying Nvidia at those lows, trying to. Might not be the low. All right, man. I mean,
well, AMD's probably going to lower eventually.
All right, so we got out at $219.50. Look, man, we took $2.50. It's a great trade. And by the way, like Neil, all the trades, you just nailed Alibaba there. You nailed AMD. I mean, we're trading a bunch of different names today, and there's been huge trades. So you could see with AMD, I haven't actually looked over. The only chip name that I looked at today was Broadcom, and you could see sort of what's been happening right there. This has been a big one. This will be my P&L #1, but you know, Tesla's trying to test it as well. And look what just happened on IBIT. I don't know, Joe, if you reloaded this or not, but IBIT right there, just boom, boom, right back in there into the 40s again, as Bitcoin right now trying to go back up to highs, 106.1, and there it is, man, $9 on Tesla. And by the way, UPS, $6 winner, that is gonna break 110. We didn't see any we didn't see any love down here for UPS. We zoomed back out on the weekly chart. We didn't see anything at all down there for UPS. So I just say watch out below right now. I feel comfortable holding Tesla. Maybe we get back up there. This one's for the dream. It's a very, very small piece for Tesla. Let me check out what's happening in Rivian again. All right, 1270. Just to get another.
Maybe don't. Oh, no, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's up right there. I mean, it's having that nice run that Tesla's having. And again, like, you could have just made just as much money on Rivian or more than we made on Tesla there. It's just a matter of share size. Like, that's bouncing as well off of these pre-market highs. That could have been a little reload spot there at 1260. So again, depending on what you want, you got to figure that out there with the stocks that you're picking. That Oklo, people talking all about Oklo in the chat, it's up 15% right now. Sorry, if I put an NQ, then we got a problem. So the chart takes a minute to load up. But there it goes. Oklo now up 14% and right back into these highs. And another runner that I'm involved with, it's been a pretty good trade, man. I mean, we didn't get out we should have got out for that triple, like up there at 30. Not even a triple, like
SMR.
We're long at, SMR, we're on that one. Oh. See, again, I changed to level 2, but the chart.
I was going to say it didn't flip.
Yeah, so there goes SMR right there. Here's that 30 level. I'm not going to be stubborn this time. If we do get into here, 28, 29, we will take something out of SMR. I feel like that is the play there. Alibaba's still going up. I mean, Neil's got that one. That's going to be a great trade.
We got
there.
a super chat here.
IBIT. Do we have a super chat? Okay, let's go.
It's Willis, and you know what? Appreciate you, Willis, for the super chat. DeepSeek is legit. Valuations are stretch. I don't necessarily disagree with that. We know what the valuations are, and they're all a little bit high. Actually, NVIDIA's isn't that bad, but some of the other ones are pretty big. I don't doubt the performance of DeepSeek. Like, anyone that's used it, it's fine. I'm questioning whether they're actually not using more expensive NVIDIA chips. That's all. Like, I think that's why you had the bleed. It didn't have anything to do with the competition so much, because the latest it should be faster and better than the previous. It's whether it was, did they really spend $5 million on it? Did they really use the old NVIDIA? Like, that's what I'm questioning. And I don't know if we'll ever get an answer to that until it's a little bit too late. You know, that's sort of the thing. So I think you're right about that. The performance, I can't really argue with it whatsoever. But I think ultimately in the long run, competition is a good thing. Lighting a fire underneath the ingenuity in the US is a good thing here. If you bring those costs down, that's just going to be good for like CRM. It's going to be good for Adobe. It might mean that you're going to get some pullback in NVIDIA. It's part of the reason I like buying the NASDAQ, because I didn't want to have to guess. Before we go to Money Talks, all right, so you were looking really good for a second there on AMD, right into the prior low, and now you might break trend back underneath. So stop goes into 118.20 on AMD, as we'll go to Adara to see how great the US dollar is doing versus the CAD.
We have QBTS here. Before we get to the Money Talks really quickly, I looked into this. I found no news on it. Tons of social media attention, though. Multiple tweets per second coming through there. So I think that sometimes that's what happens is people just get really excited about a name, so it makes this move. QBTS is also aided by the pretty significant short float. We are talking about a 17, almost 18% short float for QBTS. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about the US dollar. I'm just getting this chart up here for the daily chart for the DXY, which is still kind of chopping lower here. This one did, again, as we mentioned, that topping tail candle into and then rejecting 110, continues to be a bit of a resistance area for the USD. Lower highs, lower lows. Did get a bit of a pop yesterday, though, into that 108 thirds level, as we did get the FOMC decision. In case you missed it, it came in exactly in line with expectations, and it was exactly flat, so no cut, no hike. And it looks like right now, according to the CME FedWatch tool, we have market participants pricing in the exact same thing for this next reading. So current rate here, 425 to 450, we are seeing an 82% chance of them holding that rate. There is another 18% chance, though, of participants who are expecting a 25 basis point cut. Usually in the days following an FOMC meeting, you tend to see the rates ebb and flow a little bit. So I'll keep you guys up to date as to what market participants are feeling with regards to a rate cut. Right now, though, people are expecting exactly flat rates, at least for next meeting, guys. Back to you.
Okay.
I, for one, am shocked. No,
yeah, the market just pulled back there. So I think we got to be very, very careful. We are We've taken out some IBIT. Remember, the connection between IBIT and NASDAQ is pretty strong, and we've talked about Bitcoin and sort of the run it's been on. You did see, I mean, again, it's not, they're still independent sort of movers, obviously. You know, like the NASDAQ's doing this today, and IBIT's still trying to hold out. But remember, we have to keep adjusting, as Neil just sort of showed you the trend break, potentially, which I guess happened maybe on AMD.
We just lost a bit of gas.
Right, so I'm going to keep adjusting stops. So right now, the stop is going right here. I'm stopping out at the 200 period moving average because we've been able to get out. Like, this has been fine. The trade has been fine, and you don't want your trades just to go too much against you. And I don't even know how much we have left. We probably have about 30% left of our reload. Actually, we have exactly 30% left of our reload position. So, yeah, it won't be a loser, but we're going to get out of 100% if this breaks down below. It'll be a 10-cent loser if this breaks below. So we're in the money 10 cents now, and we only have 30% left. So we've already taken some out in the 40s, which has been a great little move to the upside. The highest we got for IBIT today is 60.60. Do I think it can go? Yes. I was looking at Ethereum. That's like 3,100. I don't even have that up anymore. I've like lost interest in looking at that thing. That thing has been pretty beat up. It's funny. We used to have
Still rich.
I apologize. Satya, sorry. Before that was talking about Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So be interesting to hear. I know there's a lot of traders that sort of play that against each other, but right now Bitcoin is near the highs, and I don't have an Ethereum chart up, but ETHE is definitely one that we can look at just to have a quick look to see what that's been doing. And you can see the difference. IBIT is up here right now, near their highs, and Ethereum's pulled back. So if there is a buying opportunity, like I've just said, some hosts on the show have said, then maybe this is a good opportunity right now to start looking over at Ethereum. Unfortunately, I think Bitcoin, I'm not holding Bitcoin for its use case or anything like that. I like Bitcoin just because one coin rules them all. And I think it's like, just like this wedding ring, like this is gonna be the only wedding ring that I ever wear, of course. And I feel like the only coin that I ever really want to hold is going to be, and look, I hold Cardano and Solana and all that, but like let's talk about an investment, and that's where I think IBIT and crypto might have it.
They're not making any more Bitcoin. Like,
no, they're making a little bit more, but
you know how much Bitcoins there's going to be.
Yeah.
I like Bitcoin because there's a 0% probability or 0.1% probability that governments will ever stop spending more than they bring in.
Right.
So as long as that's true, that means the money supply is always going to be increasing way too much. That just means that you're going to be eroding the value of everybody's dollars. I don't care whether it's the U.S. dollar. In the long term, that's where it's going, and they only make so much Bitcoin. So like I think that gives you a bit of protection. It's that simple for me, and that's why I'm always going to hold more Bitcoin. But what's amazing about this market is how much it's kind of stinking right now. Like the second we trail out of AMD, like it instantly, like the bid just dropped like 30 pennies on AMD. So maybe this is a short the pop situation. We're holding on to trend very barely in Alibaba, but it's it's getting a little bit close to losing the trend. And remember, the first time Alibaba yesterday put in a red candle on the 15-minute chart, it dropped huge. Like that was about $1 clean or $1 and change clean on the 15-minute. I'm not getting trapped in that. So I already have a trail. As a matter of fact, if it breaks back above the high, that's also a failed break of yesterday's high. So if it fails yesterday's high a second time, that should be an out. I wasn't even when in doubt, zoom out. I wasn't even realizing that was a failed break of the high as well. Let's go to Adara again. Maybe we've got another update.
Breaking news on MSOS, which just got a pretty significant volume spike here. Keep an eye on CGC, ACB, TLRY, any other cannabis-related stocks. I'm seeing, and this to be clear, pure speculation, but there's some speculation here that apparently someone was discussing the Schedule III cannabis policy with RFK Jr., who is, of course, currently having confirmation hearings to potentially be Donald Trump's health department secretary. Basically, RFK Jr. apparently positive indications through these talks. So people are expecting that if RFK Jr. is appointed to this Health and Human Services position, which is what he's up for, then there will actually be here apparently decent chance of MSOS getting regulated. Right now, though, just a technical fall at the 352 level, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I thought.
When do they not do that on weed stocks where they go up and then just immediately?
Yeah,
flush?
I don't know. Amount of money that I lost in my own portfolio on weed stocks is very, very embarrassing. So we will light up those warrants and whatever, and see if they can work out from now. But no, I mean, they're trading like warrants. They're worth nothing. Okay, so at the end of the day, though, yeah, RFK, like when they're tweeting out pictures of these guys on Air Force One eating McDonald's, yeah, they're probably into some cannabis at some point. So we'll figure out if they do not or like that. I don't think Trump has really said.
You could just eat McDonald's so you like McDonald's. I don't know.
Oh yeah. But I'm just saying, like, you know, come on, man. I mean, it is what it is. There. That was just fun. I think mRNA, like, you know, I heard yesterday that RFK was talking about that all of his kids are vaccinated. I just heard that he is supporting vaccine. He just said that he believes that they have to work on, I think it was the bird flu vaccine or something like that. So I'm just hearing some notes. I'm just wondering if mRNA Moderna has been beat up just maybe too much, and I mean, probably not. I mean, the numbers don't lie. You can always wait to hear more about it, you know, but I thought I really liked mRNA because they were working on just the technology of it, the science behind it, and looking at, you know, cancer, things like that. Like, so I don't mind it, but again, like, it's hard to invest unless you understand the sort of the downside risk, because you can lose 10% or gain 10% in one day based on a headline. So you got to be careful with that. IBIT coming back in just a little bit. The one name I wanted to talk about quickly was Palantir, because this name has fallen back in just a little bit. Not too much trading here today as the market goes red. Actually, I thought the market was still up there, but yeah, on that dip down there, here we go. Market completely turning on its head. UPS still $7. And this less than 2% that we have left on Tesla has broken below. But look, all this is doing is basically justifying what Neil and I and what we all try to talk about. And that is that you gotta watch out for these lines. This is VWAP right there. Fail break again, retest. I would say we'd be retesting the 200 period to the downside, but the problem is that's to the upside right now. So Tesla's not looking great here. I'm gonna hold this until it breaks this low again. I feel fine about doing that. It's really not gonna change the net too much, but I am looking to buy more down at this low and just see if that move gets extended back in. And then I do wanna buy the market.
And then there were none.
So I do think that on the SPY, let's just look at that real quick, and then we got to go. Those of you asking what's for lunch, we already sort of talked about this.
We don't know.
Yeah, there's a new caterer. So they're not going with the same format by emailing in the new lunch. So we'll see if that changes or what, and we will have a full update probably on the midday show, maybe what's for lunch, and then we'll also do it when we get back. But I just want to talk about the SPY. I do want to start dip buying in the SPY. I've never really owned indexes as an investment property, which has been a big mistake. Not really, but we're just way overloaded in tech. Like, I look at my portfolio and it's like my top 5 holdings. Like,
if you have Berkshire, like, no.
Yeah, but Berkshire, all right, let's just put it this way.
No, I'm not saying it's the...
Yeah, like if I have 10 grand of NVIDIA, I have like $500 of Berkshire. Like, this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I need to.
Well,
and,
yeah.
And it's basically the same ratio.
When you put it like that, then yeah.
No, it's bad. It's the same ratio for Meta, for Palantir. Like, everything is like juiced up tech side. Oh, and
that said though, like, I'll be the first to admit, like, I'm not that extreme. If I look at the non-tech, like, I probably own twice as much NVIDIA than, say, Caterpillar. But if it was 10 times NVIDIA compared to Caterpillar, I'd be doing a heck of a lot better. It cuts both ways. There's no such thing as a free lunch. If you diversify, to the extent you diversify your portfolio, ultimately, you're going to miss out when the tech rally goes absolutely nuts. You're not going to get as much of the gains. Right. Just very quickly, we got a super chat here. Appreciate you, Volcan. Thoughts on Vistra? I like actually a very good bounce on those utility names, the energy utility names. And Vistra regained the 50 period. Maybe it's let it sell down. It's up 8% today, and it's doing a really good run. But it regained the 50 period. What I'd be concerned with is the head and shoulders here at like 175, 180. But it was a great dip buy on support after earnings here on VST. I just think you got to be a little bit cautious with this because these things ran ridiculous. So if you get a head and shoulders, it's not crazy. You could retest 130, 140, and that would still be reasonable. It's past 11 o'clock. We're going to have some lunch.
Palantir, Feb 4th. I just wanted to bring that up because people...
Next week.
Yeah.
That's next week.
Next week is actually...
Next week.
My opinion, this week is more important because you have bigger names.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of tradable...
buckle up.
Yeah, tradable names next week.
More volatility.
Tesla's coming back into 389. All right. Look. These guys are the real deal.
Meta could go red.
Let's go over to these guys immediately. It is Sharif. It is Joe. and it is your midday show. Great trading today, Mr. Roberts, and I know that means your dad, but Neil, right there. How is your dad, by the way? He's doing well?
Yeah,
He's working his way. Good.
No, he's doing better. Thanks for asking.
All right, guys, let's go back over to the midday show and see what's popping off over there. I just remembered I've been asking forever.
Boom! What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. I'm taking prints, sorry. That is your boy Joey Dang Options, and I'm Sharif, and we're